You're listening to the Trojan Hour. Yeah, the boys.
Hey, you didn't give me a recommendation for a new intro.
I was thinking that today, actually.
Slack.
Very.
You dog. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for joining. Got a good show tonight, I think. We've got Damo back in the house.
Hello, beautiful humans.
So good. What do they say? What did Anthony Joshua say when he won his title back? He said, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
Yep, that's about right.
So you're back again.
Back by popular demand.
It was. We got inundated. Our 7 followers went fucking crazy.
Like Joe Biden, I made it 20 votes for me to come back.
Oh, what are you doing?
Nothing.
You know, everybody does that. Everyone that comes on the podcast.
It was already on. It was supposed to be no noise.
They always, or Matt has done it a million times. Whenever he's on, he'll set up his phone and he'll have the stream running and he'll always have the volume on. And I'm sitting there, they'll start the show and I hear this delayed, my voice in delay. It's hard to listen to myself at the best of times, let alone hearing it twice. So, what's happening, boys?
Not a great deal.
No. Only quite weak.
So we've got President-elect Joe Biden now officially.
That's so good.
But it's been made official. So
Yes, the Electoral College has given
Has spoken, as
the
they
nod
said,
of approval.
So the media has been peddling him as president-elect since
for a long time.
well before the election was over. Technically today, the Electoral College, if people don't understand how the Electoral College works, look it up. But technically they voted today, so he's now the president-elect. So Shane, I don't know how Shane's feeling at the moment.
I don't think it's bothered Shane
No.
a bit. I think he's still
staunchly
marking the crosses on the calendar.
Yeah, he's still.
There'll be a silver lining somewhere that he'll find, surely.
Got to give him credit, old Shane. He sticks fat, doesn't he?
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
Yeah,
Well, he's got a lot of money riding on it too.
Yeah, there is that. There was a jet ski last I heard that he...
Yes, I did too, yep.
Yep.
So, bit to talk about this week. So, a couple of days ago, was it Friday? Last Friday, the news broke that Australia has abandoned its COVID-19 vaccine after it caused false positives for HIV during the trials. First off, who in their right mind is signing up to participate on a fucking trial?
Yeah.
Right?
Like I said, uni students, unemployed actors,
Yeah.
and Greta Thunberg's mum at 4 months pregnant. I'm pretty sure she put her hand up for all of them.
You never
think she
sign up
did.
day
Torn
one.
apart.
Surely.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. So people, and this has sent, the people that, like Alex Jones, for example, into a tailspin because they're like, I fucking told you. Alex Jones actually said, and this is funny, I sent you the article today.
Yep.
Alex Jones actually predicted this back in February. He said, they're going to put HIV in the proteins and they're going to give us all HIV. And he was right about it. Like, it's funny because technically it's not HIV, but he was half right.
Yeah.
So people like him.
I mean, if you said it, you'd call it. You'd say, I called that.
He's got a habit of it, though.
Fuck, he does it a lot.
He's got a habit of making the most ridiculous, outlandish claims
Yep.
and having them come true. It's just a pity that
It's
some
funny.
of the other shit is so far out there.
Yeah. He says a lot of just crazy interdimensional child molesters and all this crazy shit that he just rambles.
Vampires and shit.
But the thing is that cracks me up. Well, I just can't deal with when people like Alex Jones go on a rant. They speak so, like, with such conviction. Like, there's no other possible outcome than what they're saying. You know what I mean? They're not like, maybe there's this. It's like, there's this, and then in 1974 they did this and they did that and they did this. It's just
They're never unsure about anything. It's always, this is what's happening.
And I can't deal with it. It just fucking blows my mind because I just love to, I love to consider things, but then I'm never gonna, like, if you speak to me, I'll never say like for example, love you to death, Shane, but I was never gonna say 100% Trump's got this, he's in. People are messaging me every day, still like, don't worry, Trump's got this, don't lose faith, hold the line. And I'm like, guys, come on.
People think you're going to shatter if he doesn't win.
We have to, but yeah, maybe it is that. Maybe they're just looking out for me. But we need to be realistic, you know what I mean?
Well, I've been saying from day dot that the courts weren't going to rule in his favour.
Yeah, you did. You have been, yeah.
Hopeful. I think, and it'd be just great
But do you think that that's partly because of them not liking him? Like, do you think if there was like more evidence, they would still have a negative?
How much
stance
more
on it?
evidence do you want though?
That's exactly right.
No,
Like if the foot was on the shoe was on the other foot.
Yeah, I think it'd be very different.
Mm-hmm. Now, I just think the precedent that it sets and what a Supreme Court ruling would mean for the democratic process in the US means they'll never.
But surely the
never
damage has
overrule
already been done. Like with
It
all the
would
media and all
completely-
that. Like,
It's damaged now, but could you imagine if they come out and
admitting guilt is something.
it would blow
Yeah.
their electoral process.
because they're
to
not talking
smithereens.
about people re-voting, are they? They're just going to throw out the ones they think are a dodge. Is that what they're trying to do?
Well, it would have had to be a revote in certain states.
Best result for the Democrats would have been
Because
a re-election.
all I'm hearing, like from the lawyers and stuff in the cases, is they're talking about throwing out the illegal ones. But I don't hear anything about whether they're going to get those people to re-vote or whether it's just throw out them and then see what's left.
I don't think they've really.
It's state by state too, though.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they're
that's-
being
that's the
very
thing.
select about the states too, which I think is a
Well,
bit
it's
of
ones
an
he
issue
lost.
for them. Yeah,
Once he lost, it's a swing states that
Yeah.
he would normally you'd expect him to have won,
Yeah.
where he's been outperformed by ridiculous numbers.
yeah, and
According to the
overnight,
numbers.
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning, bang, 100,000.
But no,
votes.
like I said from day dot that if it goes to the courts, he's screwed. He's not going
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for
I'm excited to see the handover now.
for 4 more years of Trump running again. And
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like they think it's over. It ain't.
Oh,
That'd be
no.
the thing. You just announce you're rerunning and start campaigning now.
If it's
Like
not
for
him, if it's
2024.
not him, it'll be his son. It'll
Yeah.
be Don Jr.
No,
or
well, Ivanka's Ivanka. I keep calling her fucking Ivanka.
Melania.
No, the daughter.
The daughter is
The daughter
Ivanka.
is Ivanka.
Ivanka.
Yeah,
He's got another. He's got another daughter who's a
Oh,
lawyer.
what's her mother's name?
Oh, I don't know.
Ivana.
Yeah,
her, mother,
yeah.
her mother's name
Yeah.
is
It's
Ivana.
something close
It
to
is,
that.
yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I get the two.
Ivana, I'm sure it is.
Ivana.
Ivana Humpala.
Ivana Humper Trump.
Let me just.
Yeah, no, I think she's the one that's really setting herself up for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But either way, it's
Don-
going to be
Big
Ivana. Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
Ivana Trump. Yeah.
Big Donna's, vice president. Big
Yeah.
gold. Fucking
Yeah.
gold.
Oh, be amazing.
I haven't heard a lot from her though. Old Kamala Harris. She hasn't said a whole heap.
They just stayed in the basement.
No,
for-
she's
Because everybody knows she's just itching, like just chomping at the
she'll
bit,
be
waiting for him
speaking to
to.
the interior decorators about
Yeah.
the White House as we speak.
Yeah.
Like she'll be her drapes, her carpets.
Mm.
she's
Yeah.
just it's funny because she performed so terribly in the primaries she had to drop out.
And she was against Biden before they elected her as his running
Yeah,
mate.
called him a racist and a sex
Yeah.
pest. But because of she was blessed with that beautiful black melanin skin.
Yeah. Is it?
And she's a woman. That's the only reason she's his running mate. It's
Mm.
as
Should
simple as
should
that.
be like caramel at best.
Yeah,
Or she-
yeah, she's caramel. But she also is amazing at switching. She's good at switching her race. Because early on when she was got into Congress, it was the articles were saying that she was the
Puerto
first. Indian.
Indian.
Yeah, she was the first Indian senator, right?
right.
American Indian, and now all of a sudden she's
Because they needed the vote.
now she's black.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whoosh, now you're
Sounds
black.
about right.
Yeah. But anyway, enough about Trump and enough about the election. Let's talk about the issues.
vaccine.
The vaccine. So the
Yeah.
vaccine, they've dropped it because so Australian officials said that they cancelled an order for 51 million doses of the vaccine, which was being developed by the University of Queensland. Now, they're saying that the vaccine appeared to be safe and it produced a robust immune response against COVID-19, according to a statement from the CSL. But some volunteers falsely tested positive for HIV. So officials are saying, we fear that it might undermine trust in the vaccine.
No shit.
Nothing like a bit of surprise HIV to ruin trust between parties, right? So they're saying that the vaccine contains small fragments of a HIV protein which helps stabilize the vaccine. Some of the participants developed antibodies against the fragments, and those antibodies triggered false positive results on some HIV tests. So they're saying that there's no way that the vaccine can cause a HIV infection because it just contains harmless fragments of the virus.
Right.
But they're
So
saying
is it just the preliminary test or something that they test positive to, and then they go and have the proper blood or whatever it is, and it comes back negative? Is there like a preliminary test that it's fooling, or is it actual?
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
Yeah.
disappointing.
Can't fact check that.
But it's it's just funny because it's like we don't want to undermine trust in the public. So, mate, no one trusts this thing anyway.
Yeah,
and this is just
I think my favourite takeaway was, and I tried to find the video clip, I couldn't find it. The response, I don't think it was ScoMo, but it was someone high up in the whole process. This just proves that Australia's world leaders in this area, like giving people AIDS. We fucked it up. How are we world leaders?
I can just see the South Park episode now. It's like, oh, congratulations, no COVID. Yeah, but now you got AIDS.
Welcome to AIDS.
But I don't have COVID. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh well, according to the media, COVID's far worse than AIDS and every other disease we can have.
Yeah, well, it comes packaged with a pre-existing condition now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. So let's talk about the very real conversations being had by politicians and some people that want this thing mandated.
Well, who's getting the vaccine?
I don't think you can though, can you?
Because look, people really need to think about this and understand the potential ramifications of a forced vaccine mandate. We're talking about world governments forcing rushed vaccines upon its people against their will to combat a virus that is only proven dangerous to certain groups, typically over 70s and people with certain pre-existing conditions.
HIV.
That is a direct violation of human rights, in my opinion.
100%.
So before we do that, let's just quickly go through the statistics so people are on the same page here. And these are per the CDC, so from the Disease Control and Prevention website. This is your chances of death. For people that don't know, this is your chances of death from COVID per age group. So 19 years of age or younger, your chance of death is 0.003%. 20 to 49, 0.02% chance of death. 50 to 69, 0.5% chance of death. So still fuck all, right? 70 years of age or older, 5.4%. So when you're 70 or older...
Well, I think that's what people have got to remember as well. It's not like, yes, that's a very, very low percentage, but it's never going to be just COVID that kills you. Like, it's not going to be COVID with nothing else. That's what kills you. That's extraordinarily rare. Like, it's always with something else. Like, something else is like they were going to die, whether it was going to die anyway, or it's just exacerbated the process. But it's not going to be COVID that kills you, just straight up.
It could be if you're.
Oh, it could be absolutely.
If you're really,
I'm saying that's why the percentage is ridiculously
It causes
low.
respiratory issues and stuff. But that's right. That's why it is so low. Like people listen to the media too much and the fear mongering that's gone on.
Yeah,
and they'll think that they'll hear 20 to 49, 0.02% chance. They'll say no way.
Yeah,
they'll go that COVID's terrible. Like look at all the people who have died of COVID.
Yeah.
With COVID, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the fucking key word with COVID. And the CDC released that statement that what they say of all the deaths at a certain time, only 6% were from COVID.
Yeah.
And the rest were all the other comorbidities that people had.
Yeah.
So, you might have had...
motorbike accidents. And
that's like
you might have had fucking pneumonia and been in hospital with pneumonia and then you caught COVID in the hospital.
Yeah. And that's what everyone was saying about how...
You might have had a heart disease.
The numbers were inflated because
Of course it was.
Yeah. And people were still going, oh, no, they're not. It's like, but mate, seriously, they have to be. And they even come out and said that they were.
Yeah, absolutely. So people that think, let's just talk about the vaccines. So
who's going to get it? Either of you going to volunteer for it?
No,
no fucking way.
If I felt like I was at risk of getting it,
I don't need it. I'm not at risk.
That was my next question. More because you're a contrarian and just not because it's... that's my take on it.
Like I only got a flu shot because it was free at work.
I had a flu shot.
Otherwise I wouldn't have got that either.
I had a flu shot once in my life and I got flu that season.
Yeah. Well, that's the point of it, isn't it? Yeah.
But I'm an athlete, so I don't need that shit.
So you won't get it, why?
I won't get COVID.
No,
the vaccine. Because there's a risk and reward system, right? Viruses and diseases, they're on a spectrum. So if you want to talk about polio or, for example, like polio or something like that, where we can all agree that the vaccines have been, instrumental. We needed them, right, to stop something that, was killing a lot of people. Measles, tetanus, polio, fair enough. if it was something like that, I'm all for, okay, I'll get the vaccine. But my chances of dying from this thing, right, I'm 20 to 49, 0.02% chance. I've got no pre-existing conditions. Why would I put my hand up to take a forced vaccine? Vaccines usually get developed over 10 years. UK has done it in 10 months. And you expect me to, we don't know anything about this
And
yet.
not only that, I think people have got to remember too that a vaccine's not a cure. Like, it's not going to stop you. It's a preventative measure that may or may not work.
Exactly.
Like, you still get the flu.
So you got to.
So you're a little bit worried about what's in it as well?
Obviously, there's an element of that, but it's more the fact that why should the government be able to force this upon me if I don't want it? Like,
So you've given 3 different reasons there. There's the
I think
we don't know what's
saying
in
if it was elective, would you?
yeah
if it was elective, no, I wouldn't take it because I don't need it.
yeah okay. So I'm in the same boat, and I think you're pretty much
Yeah, I'm
You
the
said the
same.
same thing,
I no, there's no
don't think it's
reason
the
for
need
me.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think essentially it's to get your antibodies in you fired up to fight it. So that's why there's a bit of it or whatever in it, like the flu one.
it'll I imagine work like any vaccine in that regard.
Yeah, and
But again, don't need it.
yeah,
Don't need
Yeah.
it.
if I felt like I was at risk, then
talking-
yeah, I'd look at it.
I was
But-
talking to someone about it and said a couple of weeks ago, I'm not anti-mask. I'm not necessarily pro-mask, but I think
We were
it's
talking
just,
about it on the show.
it's just easier to wear a fucking mask.
Mm.
Right? Do right by the bloke next to you and wear a mask. I was having this discussion with the vaccine. He said, well, it's the same fucking thing.
No.
Think about the person next to you.
No way.
What? So if I don't have the vaccine, I catch COVID, you're worried you might get it? Well, yeah. Well, why haven't you been vaccinated?
yeah, no, that doesn't work the same.
No, it doesn't.
No,
So that risk versus we need to understand the risk reward system with that. So, we just don't know enough about it. We haven't had the time to judge the thing.
Mm.
So
and is it worth introducing whatever's in it into your body for something you may never get?
or for something that's
That you may still get.
statistically
Yeah.
never going to kill us.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, that you may still get
Yeah.
regardless of having
exactly.
known it.
yeah,
I ain't
Um,
taking it.
I think there are, like I said, the elderly, I think, need to be protected.
Absolutely.
But again,
yeah.
you can't just say, well, because you're over 70, you've got to have it. It's for your own good.
yeah.
No.
And I mean, if they had done that, like with the lockdowns and everything from the start, just sectioned off the elderly, people that were vulnerable, would have been a whole lot better situation.
But you are going to see a lot of, like, again, I'll go back to my mum working in aged care. I'm pretty sure she's going to be made to have it. Otherwise, she won't be able to work.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
now
have
there's
read
that,
a lot
that's
of
that
that.
line between, like, it's not the government saying you have to have it.
Mm.
It's a private enterprise saying you have, like, you're basically being forced to choose between that and a living.
Mm. And I think that's where I'm kind of hypocritical as well, because I'm sort of thinking for health industry workers, like for hospital, like I kind of get that, but I still don't think people should
At the
be
same,
forced to do it.
I don't think you should be. I don't think the government should be infringing people's, rights, or it's not their place to do that to people. I don't think so.
And they want 95% for herd immunity.
95%.
95%.
Yeah.
Good fucking luck.
Good luck with that.
Good luck. There's got to be 5% who can't have it on medical grounds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
But I
it's
think
just not going to happen.
But I think I've seen a video on Facebook of a guy. I think it was in WA, and there was two. Looks from the video, it looks like he lives out in the sticks. And there was two coppers and a doctor coming out to his place, and this doctor stood there and read off this sheet, going blah 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 blah. For the government says this, this, and this, and they were saying you have to take this whatever it was, this vaccine or whatever to do with COVID. And he's like, but I haven't got it. Like I haven't got it. I haven't shown any symptoms of it. Like why do I need to take this thing?
Yeah.
And the cops are saying you've got 24 hours to go and get it done, or we're coming back and we're allowed to use reasonable force. The thing, it's like, hang on, what?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
people need to understand. People need to understand that we are talking about if this thing is mandated, right? We're talking about the government throwing people in jail for not taking this thing. We're talking about not being able to fly on a plane, not being able to potentially go to supermarkets or into banks or wherever if you haven't had this vaccine.
So
it's
do you agree with
unbelievable.
the passport, the health passport for people coming into the country?
So refresh my mind on that one.
So they're talking about basically having people have to have been vaccinated or at the very least cleared of COVID or before they can actually come into the country. I think vaccinated.
No,
if
I
you want
don't.
to come into the country, then you have to show that you've had a vaccination.
I don't think anybody should be
that-
forced to take a vaccine.
But is that kind of like, when you go overseas, you get your shots and everything? Like, isn't that sort of like for people coming here? I mean,
I think that's their argument, and it's a pretty good one. Really.
yeah, because I mean, a lot of people do that. Like, you
It
go
is.
to Thailand,
Because I was
you
thinking
get
about
your
it today.
shots and
Like
whatever.
if I went to fucking Bali or Thailand, I'd have me Hep C shots,
Yeah.
I'd have me diphtheria, whatever fucking shots they give you, and not think twice about it because I want to go to Bali.
But I mean, those vaccines are also tried and tested, not like these ones, I guess. But
But do we know the percentage of the public or the perception of the public when it comes to this mandate on vaccines? They're not going to get 95%.
no,
It's over. From what I've seen, like I've seen polls online and stuff like that. I'm not talking the polls that are published by the mainstream media. I'm talking about like, things that I'm seeing on Facebook, and like it's got a like react or an angry face react, and the no, it's a great fucking indicator.
it's probably a better barometer
Well,
than anything else going around.
Yeah, but the vast majority of these ones I've seen, people that just do not want it.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, comments and likes and whatnot, to me it seems about 60-40. People not wanting it versus people going, shut up, just do it. Rah,
Yeah.
rah. But I even think when it comes down to the crunch, a lot of the people that are saying shut up and do it would think are going to think twice about it.
People need to understand as well. The media and people on the left like to play this game. So they'll attack and label somebody as an anti-vaxxer or a conspiracy theorist if they're at all critical about the idea of forced vaccinations, right? If you say, not really keen on surrendering power to the government to compel me to take a vaccine that I statistically don't need based on my age group and my current health, they'll turn around and say, anti-vaxxer, right? No, conspiracy nut job. They do the same thing when they accuse people of being racist. So they'll say, you're a racist, and people make the mistake of trying to defend themselves when they get called a racist, right? So they'll say things like, I'm married to a black woman.
What are you talking about? I got heaps of black friends.
Yeah, or black friends, yeah, right? So they'll turn around and counter-argument that, and they'll combat that by mocking it, and immediately they'll start trying to discredit that person by saying, here we go, he's got black friends, and which is a pretty good fucking argument, really. Like, if you got black friends, it's not very
likely you're going to be racist if you've got black friends.
So I think people...
Someone's just commented, Jody's just commented, I'm not pro-vax, but I'm pro-choice. WA have made it law that everyone will need the vaccine. Does that happen?
That'd be why
Wow.
I've seen that video then.
Let me check on that. Because Jody's usually pretty onto this stuff. WA...
Look up vaccine leaflet via manufacturer. That's from Bernadette. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't call her by full name, proper name. She's trying to...
Unreal now.
makes mandatory vaccine...
Where's Jamie? Why isn't Jamie looking this up?
Being a cuck.
Unreal. Hard to find good help nowadays.
If you can find that, Jody, link it to me, because I can't find it off first search, but it doesn't mean it's not true. We'll check on that. But yeah, going back to that, I think people need to recognise that strategy, right? Of being criticised for, thinking
shamed.
Yeah, they're publicly shaming people, right?
Yeah.
People need to to recognise the tactic and, quite frankly, grow some balls, right? Stand on your own 2 feet and form your own opinion, and don't be afraid to say, I'm not down with this shit, okay? Because...
And realise that most people are probably with you.
Exactly,
in
right?
this regard.
Because we let the government bullshit us and say, it's just 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Remember that? And then that turned into curfews and months of fucking draconian rules, forcing business owners to close their businesses, stop earning a living, struggling to feed their families, while these morons in our government chose who to penalise and who to turn a blind eye to. If you're an Australian that was caught popping around to your mums for a cuppa, right, look out. But if it's a big spike in cases from a Muslim community getting together, we better not fine them, because that might stoke Islamophobia. And don't think I'm having a shot at the Muslims, because when those lebos
They shoot back.
Yeah. Because when those lebos went for their big walk through Melbourne, remember that, when they said, fuck these rules and these lockdowns, and the lebos just, like, there was like 30 lebo dudes walking through Melbourne?
Yep.
I was fucking cheering them on.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I was cheering them on.
Yep.
It's a fucking joke. The double standard is a joke from our leaders, and we shouldn't stand for it, and we can't stand by and allow this blatant attack on our individual liberty as well.
Absolutely.
We need to say no. So what do you think about it, Nev?
About a mandate?
About a mandate, yeah.
No.
It can't work.
It can't, it won't. But we're slowly being conditioned to accept it.
We are being a COVID normal. And the rhetoric and the language that we are being we are being you're exactly right. It's
Yep.
conditioning. It's slowly chipping away at the psyche
Yep.
until it's like like what we just said, like the 2 weeks just to flatten the curve, and then it was all right. We're just going to lock down. Okay, we're going to get some curfews. We're all in this together. It's keeping us all safe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we're
Right.
going to get into Susie O'Brien before, but there's a quote in there that she in
Fucking
her article.
Dr. Susie O'Brien.
I didn't want to bring her up, but there was a quote in her article from yesterday that was really, really appropriate with this. Where is it? So the article, like I said, we'll get into that later. It's the title is "A Vaccine Edict is a Must." It gives you an idea on what she's going for.
She's also called for the government to punish people that
Yeah.
won't take the
Yeah.
vaccine, right?
So we'll get into that, but the quote that sort of relates to what we're talking
Mhm.
about. So the emergency powers of the Victorian government curtailed our freedoms this year in new and extraordinary ways. This sets a precedent for compulsory vaccination. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That they've set a precedent that we've now we rallied against.
Yep.
But oh shit, it kind of worked. So we're all for it now.
Yes.
Oh shit, they've got our best interest at heart.
Or- yeah,
It's
of course.
subtle. They're not going to get us this time. They're not going to have us just flip on a fucking mandate.
Mm-hmm.
But the next time they want us to do something, it's a little bit more acceptable.
Yep.
Because the vaccines, 2 years down the track, COVID's going to be a thing of the past, and they think, oh, maybe the vaccine fucking worked.
Yes. Yes.
All right? And it's just this slow conditioning of our
Mm.
mindset that when the time comes, I said right from the start, this is
Mhm.
that they'll be using this as a test run.
It's like when you want to look at it as well. They're talking about, would I get my kid vaccinated? No fucking way. He doesn't need a vaccination. If you
Not
look
from
at,
this, no.
are we going to if we're going to force people to vaccinate, or you're going to say you should be vaccinating your kids against COVID, you should be vaccinating against the flu, because the flu's 4 times or 5 times more deadly to children
Yeah.
than COVID is.
Yep.
So are we going to mandate vaccines for the flu?
Yeah. And they don't recommend the flu shot for anyone under 40, 45 or something, because it's not needed.
And that's the biggest
We
thing
don't
for me,
need it.
though, is that, like I said, like I always say, it's the slippery slope. Like, they start with COVID, and then they go, oh, okay, people have gone for mandatory vaccinations on this, and then it just keeps going. Like, they give them an inch, they take a mile.
That's right. It's a slow, chipping away until they condition you to
And they
do what
released
they
the time frame for the vaccines. So if you're sort of 18 to 20, you're not going to get a shot until mid 2022. So by then, it's going to be fucking gone anyway.
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And it tells you right there how urgent it is.
Exactly
Like they
right.
got 51. What they say, 51 million. And
Well,
you got to have
yeah.
two. You're going to have
That's
two
for
shots. You're
Australia.
going to have your first shot and the second shot probably a few months later, maybe 6 months later.
Mhm.
How it works with a lot of them anyway.
Yeah.
So they've got to get enough to cover the population twice, 95% of the population twice.
Yeah.
So it's saying something that if you're 35, 40, you're going to wait 18 months for it.
Yeah.
Really fucking urgent that we all have it done then, isn't it?
Are you taking it, Damo?
Huh?
You going to take it?
Take what?
The vaccine.
No. God, don't.
No.
No. Because there's no need for it.
No.
Like, I don't
So
need it.
we're all in
What-
agreement there.
What if I said I could give you a vaccine that would protect you from chemtrails?
You'd probably have to tell me what the fuck. No, I'm no, I don't care about that.
Just
either.
do a conspiracy theorist heading right there.
But I'm
think,
one of them. I'm one of them people where there's not a lot that concerns me. Like
No, I'm the same.
with like the world.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of links being posted. So Steve Templeton has posted something from the ABC. It's a fact check on the WA emergency powers vaccination.
Oh.
Jodie Taylor has said, yes, everyone needs to become familiar with the Biosecurity Act 2015. Have you read much into that, Nev?
Mm.
Yeah, have you dabbled in the Biosecurity Act 2015?
I have heard about
No,
that.
I was
to be honest.
consulted, but I no.
So we need to check that one up too. Maybe that's something we can
So
talk
what-
about next week. I've heard so much about the Biosecurity Act.
Just wondering what brought that in, because there's always a trigger for these acts. There's always something that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Just wondering what that might have been. Too in depth to look up now.
Yeah, we'll talk about. We can talk about it next week.
Yep.
We can do a deep dive into the Biosecurity Act because I've heard so much about it. I need
Mm.
to. I know a little bit about it, but I don't like to just make assumptions. And
Yeah.
I like
Well,
to really know what I'm fucking talking about.
Steve Templeman's put a comment on it, and he said there's no legislation known as the COVID-19 Emergency Powers Act in WA. The Public Health Act 2016, however, does set out powers that allow an authorised emergency officer to direct a person, including a child, to be tested and vaccinated under public health state of emergency.
Jesus.
State of emergencies have pretty much all been, well, Are we still under one here in Victoria?
I don't think so.
He got it
I
extended,
think
didn't he?
he got it extended. Whether it's still
I think he did the first time, but I think that was only till.
I don't think it's still in.
No, I think it's done now.
We'll check that one out. So next week,
mate, if they roll out something like that, saying as a state of emergency, public, fucking riots in the streets.
Yeah, because that's one of those things where, like, even with where they extended the state of emergency powers, they were going, look, the coppers are just taking this as right. We decide now whether you
they loved it, didn't they?
Yeah,
they had a fucking ball. And I'm pro cop too, but they had a ball.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk more about good old Dr. Susie O'Brien from the Herald Sun. So this
gem.
This pissed me off. This pissed me off to no end. Digging into old Susie O'Brien's past on the Herald Sun.
Starters the doctor thing. I thought she was a fucking doctor.
She's not a fucking doctor,
No,
right?
she what do you call it?
She's she's got a PhD in education, but she's not a real doctor.
Yeah,
not a medical doctor.
No, but
like
what they call it? She
an
writes.
honorary.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
she actually studied for a doctor.
She lists her honorific.
I refuse to call her a journalist.
She's not a journalist, and she ain't a doctor.
There's a word for it. I can't think of it.
She's an op-ed writer.
It's an opinion piece. That's all.
Opinion writer. That's what I was. Yeah.
So people that don't know what we're fucking rambling on.
It's like
about
a dentist calling himself doctor.
Well, it's not. It's actually worse than that. She's a fucking.
It's like a chiropractor or something.
Yeah.
She's a fucking got a PhD in education, right? And she's calling herself a doctor, Dr. Susie O'Brien. People that do that are so sanctimonious.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's
Delusions of grandeur.
God. So look, let's talk about that. So
just calm down, James. All right.
there was an article was published yesterday, which you were talking about a little bit there, Nev.
Yep.
By journalist, right? Air quotes, journalist, Dr. Susie O'Brien of the Herald Sun. So,
Susie, if you're listening, lift your game.
I got news for you, Susie. You're not a real doctor, so just stop it, okay? Get rid of the doctor before your name. It's ridiculous. So her article, which Nev has so kindly brought in with him, so I didn't have to pay for it online, just reeks of totalitarianism. She wants people to be punished for refusing COVID vaccines and says bodily rights don't apply because they aren't absolute, right? Now, here's where the hypocrisy comes in for Dr. Susie.
Not just bodily rights. So the quote was, we need to remember rights, including so-called bodily rights.
So-called bodily rights.
Are not absolute.
Okay. So fair enough, Susie. But here's where your hypocrisy comes in. So she has also published other articles in the past in the Herald Sun, pro-abortion, all for euthanasia. Mm-hmm. So it seems like she's all for bodily rights as long as they align with her political narrative, right? So, and granted, she's an opinion, she's an op-ed writer.
But the dangerous thing is, and for me, that doctor thing, I thought she was a fucking doctor. She's talking about health issues.
There's a tactic in that, you're right.
As
people that don't look into it would think
she's the doctor, we better listen to her, right? She knows what she's talking about with vaccines.
It's dangerous.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
So, and you also said that she wants kids refused from kindergartens if they're not vaccinated, right?
Yeah. So
which we know is complete idiocy.
Isn't that the whole no jab, no play thing? Is that what that's about?
Yeah, but we've just as we've discussed before, we know the risk to children is so fucking low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So she wants all forms of travel, access to state buildings, schools, universities, kinders, aged care homes, and healthcare settings should be dependent on getting vaccinated. Private sector business should also make vaccination compulsory for workers and clients.
She does, I think.
Does she?
She does.
She
I'll
sounds
get
like
to
a
that.
parent that's not getting the child to do what she wants, so she's taking away more and more.
Fines should be issued for high-risk people who refuse to cooperate. Now, high risk, this kind of goes back to my thing before about where I think we're heading with segregation by class. So high-risk people for her are so people from disadvantaged areas who are more religious, those people who hold populist and anti-political views are less likely to get vaccinated.
What are they going to do? Like
fines should be issued for high-risk people so not just people who refuse to get vaccinated. If you're well off, if you share her religious and political views,
so they're going to do
right, you might be able to reject, but we're not going to fine you. We're going to reject the poor.
Yeah,
we're only going to reject the.
It's just
free
and do what Hitler did to the Jews, make them wear yellow armbands.
It's just totalitarianism, just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's unreal.
But I got some of her articles here that I can show people actually. So one of her articles that she wrote: women must resist attack on abortion rights. There are signs in the US of what happens when politics moves too far to the right, and women around the world must be ready to take a stand against attacks on their right to an abortion. Okay, then there's another one. Abortion is... Now, this one made me laugh. Abortion is tough enough without Alex's sneers. Decades after I had an abortion, women are still being judged by men with no idea. Right, Susie O'Brien. That's a bit sexist, isn't it, Susie?
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Right? So why should we listen to somebody that is all for bodily... Like, just a complete hypocrite?
Yeah.
So, Susie, if you're listening, fuck off.
No, keep listening. We're not done with it. We're not done with it yet. Keep listening.
Well, we're not done with Susie yet.
There was another one on just general vaccinations that you're like children's vaccinations that I found hilarious. I thought I fucking screenshotted it. Turns out I didn't.
Neville.
Prepare, Nev.
Preparation. Wing it. Google it. So she does have kids. She vaccinates. She actually...
Oh, yes, you
Yeah.
did send me this one, actually. You sent it in our messenger.
Yeah, so she...
Fucking hilarious.
She
While
actually
you're
contradicts
searching for
herself.
that...
She actually contradicts herself a little bit because she says that, where is it? 58% of people would definitely get the vaccine, 20 hesitant. No. So people from disadvantaged areas are more likely to ignore the vaccine. But when it comes to kids' vaccines, you're well off who are more likely to avoid it.
Is it going to be free? Is that what if they're talking about mandating it? Like, is it going to be free?
It would have to be.
Surely.
Yeah.
Oh, they couldn't.
They could... No, it would have to be free.
Yeah.
It's like assault with intent.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, when they're talking about
to rob someone.
Well, I'm thinking when they're talking about disadvantaged people, they might be saying, because they're going, why would I go?
While you're searching for that, Jody has just said state of emergency still current on Vic until 11:59 p.m. January 3rd, 2021.
Yep.
So fact check ourselves there. Thanks, Jody.
Thank you.
Okay, so I found her article. How many dead babies are enough?
That's
the
right,
old
yeah.
emotive, the old
Oh, it's
emotive,
fantastic,
standing
isn't
on
it?
the graves of dead
Dancing on
babies.
these graves of children.
I come across an article where they see Korean police seized boxes and boxes of capsules made out of dead babies, taken as a herbal medicine.
Shit,
So
they've got to do something with them.
you can never have enough,
Yeah.
basically.
Ask Planned Parenthood.
That's right.
Ask Planned Parenthood how many dead babies are enough.
Okay, so
It seems she doesn't know where she is.
No.
She's all for abortion, but she's talking about dead babies, right?
Didn't you leave her a comment?
I actually reached out to Dr. Susie O'Brien and asked her a question, and of course she didn't reply.
Gutless.
So hippie and hipster natural parenting adherents sure have a lot to answer for. They're not, I agree with her there. No. So her basic premise for this argument was that her kid was vaccinated.
Vaccinated, yep.
All right, against chickenpox.
Chickenpox.
I believe.
How's he doing in school?
Well, he's at school because
He's autistic now.
Yeah.
That's right. May even be a different article. So kid was vaccinated, got the chickenpox.
Yep.
Yeah. Only a mild case because he was vaccinated. Like,
Yep. Of
how the
course.
how the
But
fuck-
isn't that what
Well, she's a doctor.
Isn't that
She's-
what
she's
they're
a doctor,
supposed to
yeah.
do though? Like, isn't that doesn't like a vaccine introduce a small amount into the system so your body creates antibodies to fight it?
Can.
I thought that was. I could be
Yeah,
wrong,
I
but thought
think
that
you're
was
right there.
the point of it. Which is why a lot of people get a cold after they get their flu shots and whatnot.
So then her friend didn't get the kid vaccinated.
She was this whole article's about parents who won't vaccinate their kids. So her kid got vaccinated, caught chickenpox. One of her son's friends who wasn't didn't catch chickenpox from the infected child. But
his mum was the
that
monster.
kid's parent is a monster because she didn't have her kid vaccinated.
Can
Like,
you
how
though?
dare you? My kid
Yeah.
might have killed your kid.
Can you,
Like,
can you force a vaccination on your child when you can't even tell them what gender they are? Like,
Well, that's right.
You can't. What if a kid's like?
You know what's funny? When we had Leo, when we had our son, I was reading these articles. Cara loves it when I talk politics and culture. I was reading this article that some fucking leftist loon had published about we shouldn't be, like when your kid's a baby, like when your little baby's there, you shouldn't be kissing them and hugging them. You're meant to ask for their consent, right? And even though they can't speak, no, it's out there. I'm going to fucking find this article. Even though they can't speak, right? You're meant to judge their body language, right?
Some days I really like Kim Jong Un, like how he just someone says something dumb and he just takes him out the back and shoots them.
bang.
Just get rid of them.
That is where we are. These people are so fucking crazy. And look, I'm all for it. Let these people speak. Let these people write what they want because
They're doing themselves in.
but we should be able to say whatever we
Yeah.
want. We don't want to silence these people, but you know, like the double standard.
Can we
We're
turn
not
the
allowed to
volume
say
down a
what we
little
want.
bit? Just turn the volume down just a little bit on them.
Yeah, mate. But it's so fucking hilarious to me. Like this wasn't like in like the Washington Post or something because that's
Yeah.
just been absolutely ransacked
Mm.
nowadays. But yeah, we're not allowed. We're not supposed to kiss our children.
It's
or
unbelievable.
We're meant to ask for their consent and wait.
Yeah,
And
they like
like-
Joe Biden.
Judge the body language.
They like
Judge
Joe
the
Biden,
body
who just
language.
can't
Look at
keep
what the
him in
baby's
sense.
wearing. It was asking for kisses and cuddles.
Yeah. Like, what do you do when the kid's swaddled? Blink twice for yes. Or
Yeah.
like,
It's
fuck
crazy.
me.
But so yeah, but everyone's telling us to go to the bios. Why the fuck don't we know this Biosecurity Act? What kind of podcast are we?
Your
so
shit, mate.
Biosecurity Act.
Breaking the chair.
Biosecurity Act. I'm sure Jody sent me this too. 2015. We're going to dig deep into this thing and talk about it next week. Oh yeah, there's a fair bit in there. So we're going.
It's like a whole web page.
We're going to get into that. We're going to check it all out. But yeah, is that all we want to say about? We've essentially ended Susie O'Brien's
Susie, like, I'll just
career.
I'll be
Another
surprised if she
quote
writes
that's
a column ever again. I'll be very shocked. She'd be scared to pick up a pen, I think.
Another quote that just sort of jumped out at me, just glancing at it. The biggest killer in the world right now is the coronavirus. On the way to killing more than 1.7 million people across the globe.
Fact
Not
check.
a fucking
False.
chance.
Yeah, but I think she gets away with it in saying the biggest killer in the world right now, like as of today, like this point in time.
It's like-
technically it is, but in the grand scale
No,
of
It's
things,
a
I can
false
guarantee-
premise.
I can guarantee it's not 1.7 million people in 12 months. How many people die of heart disease every year worldwide? Cancer, starvation.
Yeah.
yeah, but they don't matter. Don't worry about them.
Oh.
Don't worry about them. Don't worry about them.
She gets away with it just like she gets away with putting doctor in front of her name.
Well, I think that's why she gets away with it because she's like, "Excuse me, I'm a learned doctor. This is a house of learned doctors."
Do you think if you're having a heart attack, she could help you out? I don't think so.
Do you reckon she?
She could give you some pretty good instructions.
Someone on a plane goes down. They're like, is there a doctor here? Do you reckon she puts her hand up, or do you reckon she stays quiet?
Well, she's so keen to tell everybody she's a doctor. Maybe she would. Yes, I'm a doctor. Can you help? No.
And then she's not. The guy dies. He's like, you put all my medical expertise into it.
Oh my god, it should be against the law. Like I'm for limited government. I can't stand, the government meddling in our lives as much as they do. But I'm all for the government to mandate people not to put fucking doctor in front of their name unless they're a
Yeah.
medical doctor.
I feel like there should be a different title. For
Can we
people who
start-
go and get
can
a
we start a
PhD or
petition?
whatever. Like if you're a medical doctor, you get doctor. But if you're like got a PhD in
You get-
sociology or something,
Well, you get knocked.
yeah, you get numpty or something.
Like, you're not a doctor. You get a knocked.
Oh, Nocta, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So let's
Let's have a we'll get this fucking vaccination that's got a mortality rate 35 times higher than the actual disease.
Yep.
It's gonna be funny if something like
Or
people do get-
DNA. Well, it's got DNA altering.
yeah,
What's an
Technology.
it's an
people do
it's
get the
an RNA.
vaccination and something goes awry. I hope Susie's ready to be held accountable.
I did read, and look, I haven't clarified this because there's a lot of
Nah,
bullshit.
put it out there
There's a
anyway,
lot
who
of
cares?
bullshit out there from both sides, but I did read somebody posted the other day that someone's died from the COVID.
Apparently, 6 people died during Pfizer's trials.
Yeah, but
Pfizer.
didn't
is
they
that-
come out and say that it was like 5?
Two-
Like most of them already had something that was killing them. Anyway?
Of course
Yeah,
they did.
They had COVID. two people.
Vaccine
People.
worked
So
then.
that you've got a control group, and you've got the so the control group get a placebo, and I would say in this one you think, come on, fucking placebo,
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
and then you've got your actually is a control group the one that gets the vaccination.
I think
I think
they're the
so.
one that gets the. Are they?
No, they get the placebo.
Yeah.
No, who fucking knows?
Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen the other.
I'm a doctor, not a doctor. So you got the 2 groups. One gets a placebo, one gets the fucking vaccination. 2 people who got the vaccination apparently died,
Really?
and 4 who from the placebo group. So whether they're sharing needles, like actually caught fucking HIV.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the misso was telling me something about it the other day.
And
it was just
Pfizer, like.
But it's funny you don't hear that. You don't fucking hear that.
And-
If that's true, that's
Well,
pretty
that's true.
fucking
Pfizer
big.
come out. They've
So
said,
Pfizer have said that.
But
Yeah,
they come out and
they've-
said that had nothing to do with the vaccine.
yeah, there's nothing to say that they died because of the vaccine. Like, who the fuck are they picking for these trials?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
Like, you've got 6 people like in the space of a
Medical
what, you'd
screens
imagine
on
a few
point.
a few week trial.
Mm.
Just 6 of your subjects just fucking happen to be in such poor health that they die during the fucking.
Yeah.
Like, where are they getting these people?
Yeah, they're not checking them as they come in.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Yeah.
Right. Come in, have a
Have you
vaccine.
had a COVID test? No. No, I
Lining
refuse
them
to
up
have a
like
test.
shots.
The test is invasive. Oh, well, fucking come have a vaccination.
Yeah.
They're just that excited someone
so
to
they-
bother to take it.
They haven't said that the vaccination, haven't admitted that the vaccination actually had anything to do with it,
Mm.
but they also took precautions to make sure they couldn't be held liable.
Of course. Yeah. Imagine the waivers you're signing in these trials.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm.
So
So, like I said, six
Fucking
people,
hell.
6 people dead out of it. When they're, what the control group's maybe 200, 300 people.
statistically,
So
it's
it's just
probably
like a-
probably more deadly than COVID.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
is.
Your
With
chances
those
of
numbers, it's far deadlier. Especially in the age groups, they would have.
100%.
So I can guarantee they didn't give a vaccination to a 75-year-old.
if you worked
Yeah.
if you're a mathematician, which I'm not, and you worked out the COVID risk of dying of like for us of dying of COVID or of having a adverse bad reaction to the fucking vaccine, I think it's
Well,
fucking
they-
vaccine.
Yeah,
first.
well, what you do is
I can't see him having more than 1,000 people in the trial. Right, so
Yeah, 6 out of 1,000.
6 dead out of 1,000 is 0.6%.
Yeah, which is far more than
It's the high, it would be the
Yeah.
highest apart from over 70s. Would be the highest single category.
100%.
And like I
Yep.
said, I can guarantee they didn't give it to a fucking 75. They're not going to give COVID
Mm.
to a 75-year-old.
why not? I
Even if
say
they-
include everybody. Like fucking hell.
But my fucking my takeaway from this whole thing is that risk versus reward system, and I'm not taking no fucking vaccine that's been rushed through in 10 months.
Even that doesn't bother me. Like
I ain't taking
at
it.
the end of the, fuck, I don't know what's in any vaccine. I had a flu shot. I got the flu.
No, that's what I was saying
Killed me.
before. Like I'm
Fucking
one of them
killed me.
people who doesn't care about a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and it's
I'm
like,
just not going to take it because the odds of me actually catching it
Yeah.
are ridiculously fucking
Yeah.
low. And if I catch
But
it,
it's just
the
setting
odds
the
of me dying-
precedent too, right?
Yeah.
It's setting this fucking precedent that if we allow the government to force this vaccine into all of us, what's next, man? What can't they do after that?
yeah, look at what happened to Essendon Football Club. They trusted their doctors. Their doctors. Bang, give them the jab. See you later.
Yep, exactly right. I'm going to run and grab another cider, right? We're going to have a 30-second break.
Oh,
Right?
has this ever happened before?
That's a first.
I've never done this before, but let's give it a go.
Doesn't trust
Stick
us,
with
David.
us because when we come back,
He
do
doesn't trust us. Won't leave us alone.
you just want to just talk?
No,
Do you just want to just talk?
no,
can
I
just-
don't talk to Neville outside
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
podcast.
That's right.
Fuck it. I'm leaving you guys in charge. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Very good. All right, now he's gone.
Yeah, that's right. Shut everything down. Where's Control
What a
Alt Delete?
dickhead that bastard
Oh,
is.
what a tool.
Unreal.
Don't touch
Look at
nothing.
him barking orders from in there. I can't even see. It's that dark.
So,
So
how about that local sports team?
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable how they did the thing with that ball. And
Highlight of the year.
yeah, mate,
Highlighted
I have not seen anything better.
No.
No, people heard you. They know you're back now.
Sorry. The king is
Back.
back.
Anyone still on the 5 seats.
I'm always on the 5 seeds. I've become an alcoholic.
I'm stopping. I'm going carnivore come New Year's.
Are you really?
I am
Wait, what?
carnivore.
Full carnivore?
What is that? What do
Yeah,
you
so
mean?
you're doing the Joe Rogan carnivore diet. Didn't he do
I'm
it?
going to break it up. I'm going to do 2 30-day stretches. So the first 30 days will be... So carnivore diet's only animal products.
Right.
Right, so
Vegans will.
So is that
This
just
will be
like
the
a
last
normal
time, yeah.
person, or you go off vegetables and stuff?
go off vegetables.
So-
I'll be wearing nothing but
I'd be down for that.
furs and pelts.
Come
Furs-
hunting with me.
Furs and pelts for 2 months.
I don't get a lot of veg as it is. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Shit,
So-
yeah.
So what is it?
So-
No
so-
vegetables for the first
No,
what?
so for the first 30 days, I'll do. I'll still eat processed meats, bacons. Love me salami, so still salami. Fish, like poultry, fish, chicken, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of meats. Dairy.
Yep.
And eggs. Right,
Yeah,
so I'll do
that's-
that for 30 days, and that's going to eliminate a lot of the shit that I want to get rid of.
I've done
What
that.
do you want to get rid of though? Like
well,
gluten and
no,
cereals and
honestly,
wheats.
it's an experiment. I just want to see how it affects me.
You want to see how you feel, right?
I've never really been able to get rid of sugars. I did for a little bit inside.
Sugar's my Achilles heel.
I've done that diet for about 30 odd years. So I'm there with you.
I got rid of sugars for a little bit.
I
For a
couldn't.
while. I
I'd
didn't
die.
notice anything drastically.
I would
Change?
legit die if I couldn't have sugar.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I'll get rid of. I'll do
I
that.
struggle.
I would
Um,
legit shrivel up.
I'm
and
a
die.
sweet tooth.
That first 30 days, I might still sort of imbibe when I'm around here. I'll maybe still have a little bit of it. It's basically just an elimination thing.
Yeah.
So those first 30 days will be a soft carnival.
Yep.
And then
Soft carnival.
soft carnival. Yep. And then we'll go full crazy.
So you'd be like a
paleo
little,
pig,
like
hunter
a
mode, red meat.
Jack Russell for
Nothing
the
Start off
first
as a
30 days.
velociraptor
Yeah.
and then work your way out to T-Rex.
nothing but red meat and water for 30 days.
Red meat and water
Red meat and
for
water.
30 days.
Yep.
Joe Rogan, when he did the carnivore diet, he reckons the first couple of weeks he just had crazy diarrhea,
Mm.
but he felt amazing. Like he
Yeah.
said, it
Hyper aggressive, but not like I want
toxic
Smack in the mouth.
masculinity or
no, he just said he just felt
like a man.
everything he was into. He was.
He wanted to go
fucking-
out and
he
chop
was-
wood.
He was just really into it.
Started talking like
we
the
had a
Hodge twins.
conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Are you gonna start hunting too?
Are you going to take me?
Are you going to wear
Yeah.
a flannel? Just wear a flannel the whole time?
I'm not allowed to have a gun, but
I can shoot it and you can skin it.
Fuck, you're
Skin it,
boring.
mate.
Nev. You can't have
Skin it,
guns,
gut
mate.
it.
Can't stay out past 10.
You
Fuck
start
no.
eating it raw. You'll cover yourself in blood. I'll be like, what's happened to
Full
Nev?
Rambo. Just go full Rambo. You go, oh, we're going home, Nev. No, I'm staying. I'm not gonna-
Go on without
Yeah.
me.
so no, that'll be good. I want to start that after.
Yeah, fucking
after
why
New
not?
Year's.
I
60
got
days.
sucked into, and Cara bagged the fuck out of me for this, and I'm embarrassed
You
to
went
say.
on Pete Evans' diet, didn't you?
No, what? Actually, no. But we have done Pete Evans. We got his book, the paleo one.
Yeah.
Bone broth for the baby.
No, there was no baby then, but I probably would have tried it. We did the paleo Pete book, and fuck, his recipes were really good. We did
But
that
he's
for
a
a
chef.
while.
He's a chef. It's not like Susie claiming to be a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Like he's a chef. He's got to know his
He
shit.
has worked with food before.
He did kind of claim
right.
to be a doctor, though,
Yeah.
didn't he? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I got a Michelin hat, like a baseball cap that says Michelin. I've got 3 of them. But
we did the paleo thing for a while, and it was really, really good. But we fell off the bandwagon like you do with every fucking diet because we both were working at the time, and there's so much prep in these meals, like it just takes forever.
Oh,
I was
that's a
like,
depressing.
yeah, so that's
fuck
a
me.
good thing with the carnivore, mate. I like me meat.
Yeah,
I'd
just
rather
grab a
get
bit,
fat
grab a
than
steak
diet.
and
I
go
like
for
it
it.
red.
Who cares?
Like, if the more blood, the better. So fucking press.
Like I've been blessed
No.
to hold it down this long, and now my guts are starting to come. On. Who
Yeah.
fucking cares? I'm too lazy to diet.
Yeah, no, lockdown has not been kind to me.
But I nearly got sucked into what I was going to say before I forget.
Lockdown's been the best. Man, I'll tell you what. Menu log.
Oh, you said the men. Man. The lockdown's been the best. The men.
The
I
men.
watched that back
Men
when
you
I
like.
dragged
said
the men out of
Menu
me.
log has changed my life. I don't even have to leave the house anymore.
What are
I don't
you,
have to-
some kind of faggot?
I don't have to deal with people anymore. It's just the best.
I nearly got sucked into I watched that fucking movie on Netflix, Game Changers. Yeah, and I really got sucked into it, and I was gonna go vegan. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it.
See, that's half the reason I want to do fucking carnivore is just on the off
Just to
chance that
see
someone
what
can't
your
tell
body
them- No,
does?
just in case someone pipes up that
Just
they're
putting it out
vegan.
there. I hate
And I can go,
vegans.
well, yeah, I'm a carnivore.
I cannot stand
They'll just
vegans.
explode.
You're eating my food's food.
Yeah.
Like, you're starving my food.
Cut it out.
What's that thing where I've just gone blank? What's that thing where people spontaneous combustion? You say it to a vegan, they'll just
Yeah.
green explosion
Mhm.
everywhere.
Can't
Green,
wait. Can't
green
wait.
explosion.
Yeah. I'll kick up a stick at a restaurant because there's no carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Carnivore menu.
Excuse me, what on this menu is carnivore?
Oh my god! All right, let's go to our last subject on the agenda because this comes up a fair bit. Can we be friends with people? Not say friends. Let's say can we form a strong bond with somebody in 2020 if our political views and or religious views are worlds apart? Can it happen?
Say, are you talking forming a new friendship, or like say you've been friends with someone for X
A
amount
new
of years
friendship.
and you find out?
A new friendship.
I think you can. I think it 100% depends on the maturity of the people involved. Because I mean, like I'm the most anti-religious person. Hate the idea of religion in any form, and I have friends that are religious and friends that are. But I mean, it doesn't. As long as they're not chewing my ear off about it, I couldn't care less, really. But I personally can't stand it.
Okay, so it's basically just like, don't fucking talk to me about it. We can be friends.
Oh no, they can talk. They can talk about it, but just so long as they're willing to hear criticism of it.
They're not doing this in your ear.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. So long as someone's willing to openly talk about it, whether it be hearing criticism or being pro for it, then I don't think you're going to run into any trouble. But
What do you
again,
reckon?
it depends on the maturity.
Well, you
of
said
people.
you've lost friends since you've started the whole pro-Trump thing.
Yeah,
Now,
when I
lost-
say
lost
friends,
and lost friends is an extreme reaction.
when I say friends, I'm talking. I haven't lost any close friends.
Mm.
I've lost because typically my close friends share a similar worldview as we do as humans. We're tribalist. We're tribalistic. We naturally will gravitate towards people that are into the same things we are,
Yeah.
right? And we might disagree on certain little things, but typically our friends will be people that agree with us.
Yeah,
I've lost friends on Facebook and people that were acquaintances that got really triggered by my political opinions. Like, for example, when these are making me lose my mind.
blame it on the girl.
What was the fucking marriage equality vote thing called?
Referendum?
No,
Was it?
it
No,
was
no.
something else. When we had
I was probably locked up.
It might have been. Well, anyway, when we had to vote for whether we
The
think
gay marriage.
gay marriage,
Yeah.
right? The gay marriage.
Gay marriage. Is it?
No,
No,
it
it
was
was
something
the-
else. There
it
was a
was
name
the-
for it. There was a name for it. And someone's gonna be sitting at home going, "Oh, these fucking dickheads."
Yeah.
It's called this. Put in the comments what was it called when we had to vote on gay marriage. So I put up because that was when people were getting bullied left, right, and centre for saying that you were against it.
Mm.
And I put my case out there, very well constructed case in my opinion, of why it's okay to say no to that. And I had all types of people cracking the shits and saying, unfriended, I can't believe that, this is your views and you're such a bigot and a homophobe and blah, blah. Okay, whatever. See ya. Bye.
Mm.
And I lost people from that. And I also lost people that just fucking hated Donald Trump, which, whatever, fine. That's okay. We weren't really close friends. But I haven't had a really close friend that I've lost because of
Yeah.
political views that don't align, okay? I think... What do you think? Before I go into my fucking rant about this, what do you think you can form a really strong bond? You meet
Was a
somebody...
plebiscite, by the way.
Plebiscite.
Yeah.
There you go. Steve
Thank you,
Templeton.
Steve Templeman. Spelled it wrong, but on you.
So,
Oh, go on, Nev.
but he did
Way to
spell it wrong.
ostracise the viewers.
He did spell it
God, I
wrong.
hope he did spell it wrong. Because if I've said that,
It's
apologies.
spelled wrong. So can you form a really strong bond with somebody? You meet someone, Nev, that's a fucking
First thing-
ultra-radical leftist.
First thing, would you want to?
Well, maybe you don't know at the time.
Oh, come on, like ultra radical.
Yeah, if they're
feminist.
ultra radical left,
Yeah.
well, they're pretty sure they walk up to you. I'm left.
Yeah, the
Hairy
pink hair,
armpits, purple hair.
pink hair, nose ring, and fucking collar are probably going to give it away.
Because I put a thing on our poll the other day, and we got an overwhelming majority of people said yes, you can.
Well, I voted yes.
You voted yes. Why did you vote yes?
Well, part of it is I think I'm tolerant enough to make it work. If I really
You're
like someone.
tolerant, yes, you are.
I'd like to think I'm tolerant enough to make it work.
Mhm.
And if it was borderline where I couldn't, I probably wouldn't be with someone who couldn't take my constant ribbing. Right, so to a degree, and I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about a friend up in Queensland who called.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Em, if you're watching, love you. We'll have a chat soon, probably much sooner than I was expecting if you are actually watching, because no doubt my phone will ring when I leave.
You could cop an ear lashing, tongue
So-
lashing.
Yeah, so sort of sharing the advertising for the show, and I get a message out of the blue at about 11:30 one night from a friend up in Queensland. What's the podcast all about? Sort of give her a bit of a rundown. Said, look, we just basically talk shit about mainly US politics and everything. We're sort of anti-left, pro-Trump. Sent that.
Oh boy.
She's gone pro-Trump ? And before I could fucking type 2 words of a response, the phone's ringing. And it's him. Pro-Trump. And oh, fuck, here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, pro-Trump. Said, look, James is probably really extremely pro-Trump. I said, I'm
I'm fairly partisan. I can
Yeah,
admit
yeah.
I
that.
think you're slightly on Trump's side.
I said, but generally, yeah, we're generally pro-Trump. Oh, well, I would have really liked to sort of listen to the podcast, but I don't know if I should now. Do you should I listen? I'd hate to think we disagree.
I'd hate to end up hating you, Neville.
Yeah, and
I'd hate to never speak to you again, Nev.
well, so would I. I like him. Like him. The chats we've had in the last little while, sort of late night, fucking an hour and a half phone calls, they've been great. But then I mentioned Trump. I'd hate to think we disagree. And I said, well, fuck him. If that's how you think you're part of the problem on phone rate, what do you mean? Well, we should be able to disagree. We should encourage disagreement.
Yeah.
I think that's my biggest thing too. Is I was
Public
always one of them
discourse is a
people that
massive
thought,
thing.
If you don't agree with me,
Yeah.
I've got to convince you otherwise.
Now, Em had a checklist. I don't know whether this was prepared.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling she'd asked it before. So she ran the checklist. Are you for gay marriage? Well, yes. Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep.
And I'm sure you've got a really good argument for why.
That's because his boyfriend wants him to.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
As do I have an argument for no.
for,
but
no,
anyway.
no, for why?
You're against it.
Fucking
Because-
oath I was
Oh, yeah?
against it. Yeah, of course.
Because it doesn't, it doesn't,
We're not friends anymore.
it shouldn't,
No.
it doesn't and shouldn't affect me.
Yeah.
That's the consensus, but it can affect you. It's a slippery slope.
Them
we can
gays
talk,
are coming for us, boy.
we can talk about it another time. I don't want to distract from this
I kind of
conversation.
want to get into that now.
Yeah, same.
But go ahead.
Well, it doesn't and shouldn't affect me. So, as far as I'm concerned, if something, again, my political compass results, we should post those. You need to do that.
I will
political
do it.
compass.
I will do it.
I was not right down the bottom, but it's basically, it's almost nihilism. My belief system. It's libertarianism.
Yeah, classic I would
Yeah.
I would put you in that classic libertarian if I had to put you into
Yep.
any box. And people, when they say, classic liberal, when I say liberal,
No,
it's
no,
not the
different.
liberal
No,
of today,
no,
or
no.
it's a libertarian. It's
See,
a
and
different,
that's the
totally
thing,
different thing.
Terminology I
Yeah.
get lost in a lot
Yeah.
nowadays.
But
Especially
yeah,
nowadays.
where you actually, I would say that's where you
Yeah.
are.
So the political compass quiz it basically broke you down whether you were leant to the left or right.
Yeah.
Economically, both of
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, just to bring the show a bit back to
poor old
centre.
Damo. Well, even Shane was leaning to the left.
Yeah.
I was marginally right of centre,
Yeah.
which is what I tell people all the time. If people ask, I'm
slightly right
I'm
of centre. Yep.
Yep.
Where would you put where would you put me if you had to?
I'd put you a good sort of quadrant further to the right.
But
yeah.
okay.
Over General Pinochet's way. But again, like I said to you, left and right on that quiz at least was economic left and right.
Yeah.
And I think there's some merit in being to the left economically.
If it was more culturally based,
Well, that's the up and down. That's the
yeah,
north and
okay.
south. So
well, I haven't done it yet. So.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I think I was
Yeah,
just
and
below
we
centre,
all-
up and
we all
down,
come
and I
down
was
on-
just to the left.
yeah, we all come down on the lower half of the scale. It's the sort of upper left that you really don't want to be.
And I think a lot of them trick me too because I don't understand the big words they use.
Big words, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely not a left.
Stupid is as stupid does.
So what were we saying?
Oh, like, can you form a
Yeah,
with
so-
yeah? She went through the checklist and
Yeah,
gay
checklist.
marriage.
So there
and-
was a gay marriage. There
Yep.
was climate change. Short answer was basically, yeah, it's changing, but not for the reasons you think. Don't want to get into it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I have to do that. Like if someone's like thing and then they like skim over it. It's like, no, what?
Yeah,
Talk about this.
Well, there's always we'll come back to it.
Mm.
What was the other one? Was would you approve a coal mine on Aboriginal sacred ground?
A coal
Approval what?
mine.
A coal mine
Yeah.
on Aboriginal sacred ground.
Oh,
That's
an
a
interesting
that's
question.
a nice.
That's
yeah,
an
that's a
interesting
random
question.
question.
It is a good question. It's a good question.
Mm.
What do you reckon?
Really makes you think.
Would you?
I don't know enough about
Would
it.
I personally?
Give me your answer.
Well, I said 30 years ago, 40 years ago, answer would have been straight out yes,
Mm-hmm.
because we were much more reliant on coal
Mm-hmm.
back then. And I'm not a fucking greedy. I don't fucking alternative energies. Get it where you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, much more reliant on coal. The alternatives weren't there. Now there's probably a case to be made. Well, we can maybe do without another coal plant. So maybe not.
Mm.
But you want to build a fucking casino.
I mean, it depends on how much
On their
money I
land.
stand to make out of it. I
It comes
suppose.
down. Well, for me, it comes down. And this is a fucking. And I hate it. It's a leftist thing to say, but it comes down to the greater good.
Mm.
What's going to do more good for more people?
Yeah. Righto.
All right, and a a resort that attracts tourism on sacred ground might just be it.
Yeah.
The Americans did it with the Indians. They put casinos on their ground, on their sacred ground, and gave it to the Indians to run. Clever, because it's ruined. It's ruined Native America. But at the end of the day, if that's the greater good, if we can do more good and harm fewer people, you'd make a case for it. But no, today I probably wouldn't put a coal mine on sacred ground. Golf course.
Golf course.
Yeah.
Golf course,
So you're saying that you can...
Yeah, we had a good chat. We disagreed on things, still disagree on things, but hung the phone up. Can't wait to speak to you again. Happy days.
Okay.
All right.
But I think it's a hard one to say. It's a very... there's a lot of moving parts. It's hard to say because she might be a very tolerant person with different views where I think when you're talking about...
She's a pagan. Does that help?
I think
What is
fucking
that?
pagans.
Hey?
What is that?
Pagans are...
Like I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, because it hasn't been a thing since like 16.
Is it like witches and stuff?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh God.
She's into Wiccan. Telling you a great story about a dead cat, but we haven't got time for that.
I think when you're talking... I said no. I said no because...
You don't think you can?
Well, and I'll explain why. I'll give you a case why. And I'm not saying that, we can't get along with people with different political views and we can't coexist. Of course we can. We do it all the time. We do it every day. But
I'm doing it right now.
We're doing it right now. But I think when we're talking, when I say very close bond, I'm talking best of friends. You meet a girl and you want to fucking have a family with her. That's a whole different kettle of fish to just coexisting with someone in the office or having acquaintances or Facebook friends or whatever. I think when you're talking about slight political differences, like you can do it, no worries. Like you might think, Nev, that you might be more big government and I'm more limited government. You might think that freedom of speech shouldn't be absolute because you might argue that the best ideas, don't rise to the top and it gets very messy and you might think it needs...
Never going to tell a partner they can't say what they want.
So I look at it more as
Your opinions are invalid.
More of a counterbalance sort of thing. Like if it creates more opportunity to learn. If you've got someone who is differing or opposing in your views, then it creates more opportunity to learn. And how boring would life be if you just agreed on everything?
And you're going to walk away from someone you just said you might be able to have kids with over a difference of opinion. No matter how.
Yeah, but it goes deeper than that. I think if you're going to...
Well, how much deeper does it go than belief? Like religion? Like could you have kids with someone who was a hardcore...
Nope.
No. You don't even know what he's going to say yet.
Could not even date a religious person, I don't think. No, it drives me out the wall.
So you're in my camp then?
It drives me batshit crazy. It's batshit crazy. Like it's just nonsense.
I might be able to change your mind later on about religion. Because
I'd be interested to hear it.
Yeah, because I'm not a religious person. I'm a Catholic, but I don't practice. But I see a lot of positive in traditional Christian values, and I take a lot of positives out of that. And I think religion can do a lot of good for people.
So this for me it's the same argument as climate change. Why bring religion into being a decent person? Climate change. Why bring fucking like?
No, and see, that's what I'm saying. It's not my barometer of whether they're a decent person. I'm just saying I couldn't, say, date, hypothetically, someone who was religious just because it's too much.
Why label decent values as Christian values?
Yeah.
Climate change, I'm not a massive proponent of, I think...
Are you a climate change denier?
Are you, Neville?
No, climate change is real.
It's a real thing.
And
we all know that.
Probably...
Being politicised
accelerated by man, but as far as I'm concerned, man is part of nature. It's a natural process.
Yep.
Now, should we? This is completely off track for what we wanted to talk about. Should we look after where we live? You vacuumed the fucking room before we come along.
Yeah, I did.
You want a nice.
There was dead
clean
spiders
space.
on the floor.
That vacuum's probably put how much into the bloody... It's unreal.
That's a Dyson.
That's a Dyson.
Free energy. Like you want a clean space to exist in.
Mm-hmm.
Expand that to the planet. We should look after where we live.
Yeah.
Should we do that at the cost of jobs and livelihoods and things like that? There's another way. We don't have to fucking completely get rid of fossil fuels and everything just because it's the hip thing to do, because that's the best for the planet. We don't have to do best. We have to do better.
Yeah, and they're just talking they're talking ridiculous things like reducing it to zero. Like you're never going to get there.
it's
It's not going to happen. It's going to cost more, and they're fucking they're organising these protests on their mobile phones, which require mining in fucking African jungles, killing orangutans so their phones work. Like,
it's just been my issue
and
with
it's
the whole.
same with it. Like for me, it's the same with religion.
Yep.
Like, why do we? Yeah, like I said, we don't need like just.
Why do you equate it with?
Yeah, we don't have to.
Yeah, but it's also the teachings, and it's.
But again, it's just being a decent person.
Yeah, but it's like, you can't. Like the Bible, if you read the Bible and you interpret the Bible and how it's meant to be interpreted.
But if I read the Bible, I'm probably drunk.
In a motel somewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
I just think when you look at Christians as a whole, for example, I'm just using Christians. They're
Aren't you Catholic?
Yeah.
Are they different?
What's the difference?
It's a different thing.
What's the difference?
Well,
So use your own religion.
Catholics and it's all under the banner of Christianity.
Yeah.
Christianity, fucking 5 seeds. But when you look at charity, for example, religious people are typically more charitable than people that aren't religious. And if you look at the 10 Commandments and all those kind of things, they're all very good life lessons, and they're tools for teaching people. Right? I'm not saying that you can't be a good person without the Bible, but the Bible is a positive influence in a lot of people's lives. It gives people. I've got a mate, and I can tell this story because it's really fucking interesting. He's a Jehovah's Witness, right?
That's another kettle of fish.
But I didn't know he was a Jehovah's Witness when I met him. He's Greek. He's the best guy, funniest guy. I met him at an epoxy course years ago, and I'm narrowing it down, so people are going to he'll know who he is. And he's the life of the party. He's this funny, hilarious guy, and he's fucking awesome. And he'll do anything for you. And we were, we fucking exchanged numbers. Said, hey, if you're ever in Shep, whatever, or if we need a hand on a job, come give us a hand. And we ended up working together a few times. And he never mentioned his religion, right? Because you would not pick this guy for religious. You would not ever do it. And one day we were working on this huge job with another guy, and he goes, let's go get some lunch. He goes, my shout. And I'm like, sweet. And he goes, come with me for a drive. So I jumped in the car, and we're driving to KFC in Wangaratta. And I can't remember how we got onto I think it was nearly Christmas time or something. I said,
My box pops open, all these books fall out.
No, it was nearly Christmas time. We were working. It was like the last week before Christmas or something. And I said, what are you doing for Christmas? He goes, I don't celebrate Christmas, bro. He goes, I'm Jehovah's Witness. And I'm like, knowing you're such a shit stirrer and such a joker that you just pull on my leg here. And I'm like, I said, you're a Jehovah's Witness? He's like, yeah, I've been in the faith for a while. I'm trying to get back into the faith because I got kicked out. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like,
what does one have to do to get kicked out?
I'll tell you why. And I'm thinking, I know a fair bit about religion. I've read the Bible a long time ago. I've read the Quran because I wanted to educate myself. I threw out a few things at him that I thought only a religious person would know. I asked him a couple of questions about the Bible. Fucking knew him straight away. I was like, okay, this guy's not talking shit. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, I said, okay, so you're a Jehovah's Witness. What happened? And he goes, I was, my whole family Jehovah's Witnesses, and my whole life I was a virgin till I was 30 and he goes, and I got caught. He had a missus that was in the faith as well, and they got caught,
hopping on the good foot,
out of wedlock, got caught in the bed. So he got basically
excommunicated.
Excommunicated, exactly right. Excommunicated, kicked out. So he went on this complete fucking
He's gone Amish. That 1 year of Amish gone nuts, gone the
he went
hookers.
Nuts. Exactly right. Exactly right. So he went fucking crazy. He went from no sex to getting out of the faith, dating a hooker, just coke, fucking LSD, weed, just
Something
went
to be said for
fucking
religion.
Just the natural progression.
nuts.
Yeah.
Went fucking nuts, right? And he was telling me this story about how he took so much LSD. He was on the floor and he couldn't move because every movement he'd make, he'd have an orgasm. And he was saying it was fucking just crazy. Like he went nuts, right?
Gotta be
But then he said, and I fucking totally forgot what I was talking about, but basically he said he did this shit for like 2 years or so, and now he wants to get back in. I said, why do you want to get back in? And he said, it gives me a purpose. He goes, it gives me guidance. It gives me something to follow, right? He goes, it gives me comfort. I'm like, that's fair enough. Like, if that's how you feel, if that's what that does for you, if that makes you a better person, then I'm all for that. You're not hurt. He doesn't preach to anyone. He doesn't hurt anyone. He's never once tried to convert me. He's so open and honest about his religion. And I think that's
how the
really
Johos get you, though. They lure you in with kindness.
And I think that's a really good thing
more
to
chance
be.
of luring me with Coke.
But I think that's a really, really good thing.
We'll have to do a show on it one time and get into it more in depth.
Yeah. And I got a Muslim friend too. I nearly said radical Muslim. He's a devout Muslim.
He's a surfer.
He's a Sunni Muslim. He's an Indian guy. The best dude. Such a nice guy. He is he is what you would hope that every Muslim was like, right?
Yeah.
He's such a peaceful
Poster child.
He's a poster child for how Islam is meant to be,
Yeah.
right? As we know, it's not always like that, but that he is what you would expect, a religion of peace person to be like. And I rang him today regarding the vaccines, and I asked him, is it a infringement on Islam to take a vaccine? And he said no. He said, in Islam we have to follow the law of the land that we are in. So he goes, if it's the law, we have to follow that, and it's okay as long as it doesn't contain any pork or fucking alcohol.
Something that's going to contradict.
We're good with that.
Yeah.
So
HIV was probably bred in fucking pigs.
So look, I think religion
and your Seventh-day Adventist mate would not be allowed to take it. Is that right?
the
Jeho-
vaccine.
Jo-
I don't know.
the only pejorative there, Joho.
I'll have to ask him.
I
I'll have to ask
I think a Jehovah's Witness, I don't think they're allowed to take medical.
Yeah, 'cause
But a lot of it-
Jehovah's Witness where they can't even have a blood transfusion
Yeah.
because it goes against their.
Yeah, and that's another thing that ties into the human rights debate about this COVID mandate is religious freedoms. It's going to infringe on a lot of religious freedoms too, potentially. But going back to, we just went way off topic and got onto religion there.
Really did.
But
That's my bad.
no, who cares? It's fucking whatever. It's a live show. We do what we want. Do what I want. But I think a friendship can thrive under good conversations and you can disagree on certain things. We disagree on things. We disagree. Me and Nev do it all the time. Like, me and you will disagree on the religion thing for now until I change your mind.
Well, we used to disagree on Trump.
We did. There you go. But a friendship can survive, can thrive under those circumstances. But I think when you're talking moral values that are completely different, it's really hard to form a really solid, trusting relationship with someone. Like if I meet a chick, right? I'm a single guy, for example. I meet a chick. I'm thinking, oh, this chick's not too bad, whatever. And then I turn out that she's like this fucking radical leftist that's right into, modern gender theory. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to have a kid with this chick and she's going to turn around and, force gender ideology onto this child, like, I don't think you can...
Come back to the religion side of things. If you met a Muslim woman who you, on every other level, agreed with, had, like, nothing but happiness, had a kid, she wanted to raise a kid as Muslim, you're an atheist.
That's a big deal.
That's exactly
Religion
the same
and
thing,
politics, I think, are the two biggest deals. They
It's-
say
it
you
is.
shouldn't talk about them.
You would hope that you would have some sort of plan prior to having a child.
Maybe it's
I mean,
a
rather
Tinder
than
date.
she's just thinking, she's like, oh, I want to raise a Muslim. Hang on, you never fucking told me that.
You'd expect with someone who was a practicing Muslim.
That's a big...
Yeah, but
Like
see,
my-
I don't. If no one says it to me, I don't. Like, how am I going to know? I'm not a mind reader.
Maybe the burqa might have given it away.
When you don't see anything but the eyes until you...
No, but that's what I mean, though. If I'm a single guy, man, I don't care. I don't care what your religious views are.
You're thinking with something else.
Yeah.
But
Well,
no,
bigger brain.
I just think it's very hard. I just
It
think
is.
it's very hard to, when you're talking about, moral, when you're talking about values and morals that are completely different, like me being on the right, you would say I'm pretty far right. I don't think I could form a really strong bond. I can't trust somebody that's extremely
And I think
far
it's
left.
where they sit on the political scale as well. Like,
Of
you know,
course.
someone who's just to the left or someone who has, sure.
Like I
But
said,
if
yeah.
you're completely polar opposites, then yeah, you're going to run
So
into it.
and look, yeah, I'm likely never to end up with anyone who's extreme opposite because personally, I don't think I'd have an extreme either. Like
No,
I
you're
said,
not an extreme.
No,
and
like-
I'm not an extreme either.
No,
No,
I
you're
disagree
borderline,
with
but
that.
I
I'm
very rarely
borderline.
strongly disagree. Very rarely strongly agree.
Yeah. Yes.
Like-
yeah. And I
So
disagree
I don't
with
think
it.
I'd ever find, but I find that a little bit fucking hypocritical to say that you couldn't be with someone who you didn't share those values with.
Mm.
Are you calling me a hypocrite?
I can only 100%.
You calling me
just a little hypocrite, but
Just a little one.
a little bit. Their opinions. Religion's different. Religion's a belief.
Yep.
But their opinions. I think
But the poll
I think if your partner wants to go out and protest fucking
women's
cruel
rights.
treatment of turkeys at the local fucking turkey farm, let it go. But if she comes home and you're eating fucking turkey sandwiches, she's got to let you go.
That's right.
Right, and that's the key. That's the thing. You've got to be able to have someone who it comes down to the same, to the not the belief, the level of tolerance.
Yeah, and that leads me into my next point, which is it's hard to. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I fucking get triggered too by things sometimes.
that's
We're
what
all
you say
human.
on
And
air, off
if
air.
We're
the
all
stronger-
human.
The
but-
stronger the belief system, the lower the level of tolerance
Yeah,
for anything
but
outside of that.
Radical
belief
leftists or people on the hard left typically are far more like they're meant to be the tolerant left, but they're far less tolerant than right wingers with things, right? As we've seen, just look up fucking what's going on in America right now.
Yeah.
And that is hard. It's very hard for me to have a constructive conversation with somebody that is based purely on emotive responses and purely on not data and facts or
And
science.
also, though, like a lot of the ones you see on Facebook and everything, you see in the worst of the worst. Like there are, I'm sure there are a lot of extreme left people who are quite level-headed.
There are
that,
exactly.
that could quite easily sit down and have the talk with you. But
Yep.
I mean, like I said, it all comes down to individuals and the maturity levels. I think whether you can sit down and hear what they have to say, as well as being able to take what they have to say and give it back, and them being able to take it, and vice versa.
Yeah, but religion is a big one. Religion is a big one.
Absolutely.
I don't think it'll be very hard if you're a say a devout Christian or a devout Jehovah's Witness or whatever. It's going to be very hard to make it work with getting
I
with
don't
a
think
Muslim
so. I
woman.
think again, if
Depends
you're
on the
a
level of
hardcore
practice, I
religious
think.
person, you should be generally pretty accepting. I find, especially with Christians, it's the born agains that are the ones that are.
Like, I mean, if it was a
thump your
religious
fucking ear.
person that was quite happy for me to go about my biz and whatever, then fine. But if they're going to say, well, look, you should come to church on Sunday, no, I don't want to do that.
There's a lot of that's what I mean. It's a hard argument to say yes or no.
Yeah.
That's why I said no, purely because
A lot of variables.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
variables.
And I'm like you. I'm all for anything that gives you personal growth, acceptance, and if that's religion, I've always kind of been jealous of the hardcore religious.
with their faith system.
Faith,
Yeah.
no
It's a
faith, no,
big
no. Just to be able to believe, I believe things. I believe there are aliens. I don't believe in fucking ghosts, whatever.
Yeah.
Belief is here. Faith is up here. To actually have faith in something, it's
a powerful thing.
Powerful. It's huge.
Did you?
Yeah, but it's also
do you know Brendan
it
Sharp?
can also be very, very detrimental. Like,
It can be.
It can be, but it's something that I've
and to
read.
have faith in
To
something
put
that
your
has
faith-
no basis in
But that's-
reality,
but
like
that's
it's just
that's
nonsensical.
But then
No,
again,
but that's the definition of faith.
then again, you're saying it's nonsensical. I think it's very ignorant to think we know all the answers.
I'm not happy to be proven wrong, because if I'm proven wrong, I'm burning.
No, but see, that's the thing. If someone could come to me and show me something that's some sort of anything,
I'm 100%.
I'm 100% open to hearing it.
Do
seeing
you
it.
believe from the evidence that's out there and from the historians and that do you believe Jesus existed?
Absolutely not.
You don't believe he existed?
No.
I think what we think of as Jesus was based on someone real.
I
think there's
probably
enough-
the guy who wrote the book.
There's
probably.
enough
No, the
historical
book was written over
context
fucking
out there.
generations. I think
to
there's
suggest
enough
he
that
definitely
there was someone.
Like what though?
he definitely Jesus definitely existed, but whether or not he was supernatural and can walk on
He wasn't
water,
the son. For me, he wasn't the son of God. He was nothing
Yeah.
special. He
Yeah,
was.
I don't
He was
understand that.
as these. Like,
he was
like
ahead of his
Muslims,
time. He
as-
was a fucking hippie or
Oh,
something, cruising
probably had-
around.
So far ahead of his time, he probably had an iPod.
Yes, there you go.
He was, as the Muslims say, he was a prophet.
Mm-hmm.
He was a really.
Yeah, but
He
back
He was
then,
woke. He was
Barack-
woke as
back
fuck.
then
He was a
anyone
Barack
could be
Obama
a
of his time. He was a
prophet,
really
like-
public speaker.
Yeah.
He
There was no social media back then. There no one's fact checking fucking the guy who wrote the Bible.
no,
But do you believe the fact checkers of today?
No, but that's the thing. Like nobody's.
But
the
no, I
the guy
think
who wrote
that-
the Bible is like, oh, this, and this. Nobody's going. Hang on a second. They're all turning around going, well, fuck. If I don't
It
listen
was
to this,
probably
bloke, I'm going to
more.
burn in hell for
It's
eternity.
probably more trustworthy back then than it is now.
100%.
Yeah, but I think that's where it lost its sense of.
Yeah, because if you didn't agree, you were hung. Like you were fucking drawn a corner.
Yeah.
Like you weren't just.
Like I still stand by the fact today that if you, like say Christian for example, if you weren't allowed to take your children to church or tell them anything about religion until they were of 16, 17 or whatever, of like a mature age, religion would be dead.
No, I don't disagree. I think there's a natural curiosity with people that we always go looking for something. If we're missing something within ourselves, we always go looking
like
for
We're
if
talking about faith, right? Going back to your saying how powerful faith is. You know, Brendan Schaub,
Mm-hmm.
ex UFC fighter, who's got his own podcast. He was talking a long time ago on one of Joe Rogan's shows, and he was saying when he was fighting, whenever he would fight a Brazilian, for example, because Brazilians are typically staunchly
Mhm.
Catholic Christians, he was saying that he was so fucking scared himself of going out. All right, I'm going to fight. I'm freaking out. I could get knocked out. I could get hurt. It's all on me, whatever. He'd say, I'd look over at my Brazilian opponent,
calm as fuck.
calm as fuck, because you know why? It's all in God's hands.
That's right.
See, that's
It's all up to
man,
Jesus.
that
Whatever
is-
happens,
But
I'm
that
in
gets
God's
back to you
hands.
being
That
da-
I
No, but
fucking
and
hate
it
the
gets back to you
most.
being dangerous. Like,
That's a
the-
powerful thing.
But also with Damo saying it's dangerous because
It is,
he's
yeah.
willing to go headlong into just fucking
Yeah.
no regard for personal safety.
There's a catch-22 there.
Yeah.
I agree. But it's
And
all in
you
Jesus'
extrapolate
hands.
that onto a fucking bigger scale.
But it's literally not.
The
Like,
Lord
if he goes
will-
out there and doesn't throw any punches, it's not in fucking Jesus' hands. It's
Well, you
in
don't-
his.
well,
Maybe it is.
But yeah,
It's
we
not,
don't.
though.
But we don't know that.
We
I
don't know.
do.
You don't.
I
It's
do.
ignorant. You
No,
can't.
you believe that.
You believe that. You don't know that. We don't have all
And
the
I'm-
answers.
look,
No,
trust
Do you
me,
believe in
I'm
aliens?
I'm as atheist as anyone you'll ever meet.
I'm joking when I say I know. I don't obviously know. But it's just, it's fucking insanity.
Like
I
every
can't-
time I say I don't believe in God, I've got my fingers crossed behind me back. Just
Just in
Just in
case.
case.
Yeah, just
no,
in
but it
case.
doesn't
Just in
matter because he
case.
forgives anyway. So what the shit?
that's right.
Doesn't matter.
There you go.
But no, like I read a book years and years and years ago. And it was a book of 50.
Fucking book readers, man. I tell you.
Well, I
Get
don't-
into it.
Come here with your
fun.
education and your points and facts.
We're not
Well,
doctors.
This book, me and James will make an iPhone movie of it for you. It
Lots
was
of
a
pictures,
book,
lots of pictures.
50 scientific papers by religious scientists,
Mm.
right? And it went into the science of belief and
But
science.
don't
science
religious
of
people
religion.
denounce science?
No, a
Nah.
lot of them use it. Like there is,
Like a lot of them think dinosaurs didn't exist.
and there's a lot of science to say that, according to them, there's a lot of science to say that they didn't.
Well, that's a lot of stupidity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. Again, yeah, agreed. But so, you never prove anything with science. All you do with science is a hypothesis.
No, it's a
And the
hypothesis
hypo-
until it's proven.
No, it's a hypothesis until it's disproven. You'll never prove it.
Well, no, that's
It's
not
only
true.
it's only
That-
no,
that-
no, it is.
that
It's
can't
only
be
No,
true.
I think you're
It's-
right
It's
there.
only fact
Technically,
until it's
yeah.
disproven.
It's only
You
fact
can- you
until
can't
it's
prove-
disproven.
yes,
you
you
can't
can't-
call it a fact unless it's proven.
That's
No,
why
you
the
can't
lefties
prove
won't
it.
let
You
go
can
of
never prove it because you might be able to
transgenderism.
repeat, and there's a scientific scientific edict or a fucking there's something that says, well, basically you can repeat a thing a million times and get the same result, but the first time you might get a different result.
That's the definition of insanity.
No, repeat.
literally is the definition of insanity.
That was Einstein. You repeating something
Hoping
over
for a
and
different
over
result.
and hoping for a different result is the
Yeah.
definition of insanity. Hoping for a different result is insane. The fact that you might get a different result is science.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think science is more the back and
Science,
forth.
bitches.
There, it's more the back and forth of it's ever evolving. Like it's,
But that's exactly what I'm saying. So,
But
so,
to
so,
say
so
that
someone will
things
come up
aren't-
with a hypothesis and it'll be published, and everyone will do
but
their
that's
own
still
research.
just a theory.
They'll do their own research and they'll go, "Holy shit, my research matches up with that."
Yeah,
And until someone does research that goes against that, then that's the accepted hypothesis of the day.
Yeah, but a hypothesis is literally a theory. So
Theory,
it's not.
that's right.
It's not
So
fact.
but you're disproving your own thing. You're saying that it's like it's a theory. It's never proven. It is
no,
never
but
proven.
no, but
It's
that's
never
what I'm saying. It remains a hypothesis until it is proven, and then it
But
becomes
how do you-
fact
But how do you prove it?
with like obviously experiments and science and all
But
that
then
jazz.
someone comes along and disproves it, means that it hasn't ever been proven. If it's been if it gets disproven, it was never proven in the first place.
No, that's not true at all.
It is.
It's
Damo,
not.
I'll tell you, we're going to step outside.
When was that? But when has
I'm
that?
just having fun listening to you guys debate
When has
this.
that happened?
Every hypothesis that's ever been disproven,
Yeah, but
every proven
Yeah,
theory.
but if a hypothesis is disproven, then it's never a fact.
Okay, so what's the current scientific hypothesis? Let's go back to the moon, shall we?
If a hypothesis is never, if it's never proven, then it's
Okay,
never fact.
So
If you disprove it when it's still a theory, then of course it's never not a fact.
let's go. Like, we'll replace hypothesis with
Speaking to the mic, you do.
we'll replace hypothesis with evidence. Like a science. What's something that's been proven by science?
Something gravity?
Gravity, has it?
Yeah.
Until someone
There it is.
No, that's an example. That's an example of the hypothesis, and I agree with you on gravity. Don't use that. That's
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking disprove gravity,
Well,
bitch.
But okay, we do that. You do it again. We're going to get the same result.
No,
we're going to
it
get the
is.
same result.
It's
We're going to
not.
get the
I'll
same
tell
result.
Oops, sorry, that was me that time.
James,
Jesus
every time.
Christ.
I've had
Every-
3 5 seeds, man. I'm going to get
So
another
we're
one.
going to
man.
do that a million times.
Hmm.
But we don't know.
It is.
Well, hello. It is what?
It is.
We don't know whether one time we do it, we get a different result. Whether the bottle cap.
It absolutely is a different result because the world's always the
But it
Earth's
is-
always
but- yeah, but-
moving,
but if
so
I-
it's
if- but if
technically
I do
dropping
this-
at a different spot.
But if I do this and it hovers,
Hmm.
then gravity's been disproven.
Yeah, but that's you saying the word "if" makes it a hypothesis, not
No,
a fact.
But it makes
I'm going to get another drink while you're arguing this.
saying the word "if" doesn't make it impossible. It doesn't mean that it won't ever happen.
No, but it makes it highly improbable because
Highly improbable isn't impossible.
no, I'm not saying it is impossible, but until you can make it float, then it doesn't matter.
Doesn't mean it's proven.
But no, you're trying to prove that a bottle cap floats.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to disprove gravity.
But you can't by saying "if."
No, I'm saying
You've got to get it to float, and
if
then
there-
someone
no,
will go,
I'm
"Hang
saying
on."
if there is an if, then it's not 100%.
But there is no "if."
There is a level of but there is an if.
No, there's not.
There is.
No, there's not.
Well, that's what science says.
No, well, why?
Prove it otherwise.
No, again with gravity.
I'm actually going to look up the. It's. Hold on.
Oh,
Who
man.
said no? Say.
That's so good.
There is actually. Fern Summer.
Oh shit.
We've got something we agree with Fern on. There is no such thing as an absolute fact. Fern, thank you very
Well,
much.
Sure, there is. I'm a legend. That's a fact.
Oh shit, he's got you there. He's got you there. Okay, so I don't even know what to fucking Google to.
So would what would 2 + 2 = 4 be an absolute fact, or is that not?
Maths isn't real.
Maths is
Would that
racist.
not? But like, would that not be an absolute fact? Like to say they don't exist at all is a bit out there.
Okay, you've seen the let's dumb this down to the level 3. You've seen the ads on superannuation. Past performance does not predict future performance.
Right.
It's exactly the same as science. Just because something's happened in the past a billion times every fucking time doesn't mean it won't change.
There is such thing as an absolute fact. There is such thing
Oh
as
no,
absolute
I agree.
truth.
No, sorry, Fern just said there is no such thing as an absolute fact. I agree with that. There is no
Do ya?
such thing. 100%.
So I don't
Because
think
we
you
don't
don't
know
think
what
there's
happens in the
something. You don't think that something can always be true no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah.
Up until now, something can
Like you've been to jail.
something
That's an absolute fact.
absolute.
Ooh.
In the
Ooh.
in this
In this
existence?
dimension, maybe.
Yeah. That's an absolute fact.
I think that is.
I'm driving home tonight. That's an absolute fact.
I think he might have you there.
I'll come back. To that.
I think
The fact that Fern Summer said there was no absolute fact is an absolute fact.
I think you might be right there, Damo. I reckon we might have to move on from
score
there.
one. Let's move on quick. Let's go. Something else.
You've got one over the genius with a fucking IQ of... What's your IQ, Neville? Just tell people... just let people know what your IQ is.
There's
Come
no
on.
scale that can measure
I love IQs.
Let's see.
I'm about 3/4 of
All right, I'm about 88 at the moment.
It's very high. Anyway.
It's about 88. In science, the only uncertainty.
I love nowadays. I love nowadays of we now have...
Phone, help.
We now have truth. We now have truth and my truth.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's a fucking made up thing. There's no such thing as your truth.
I'm just telling
right?
Yeah. I've seen someone say that once and someone said...
Yeah.
like,
It's
my
it's
truth.
left
like,
talk.
well,
It's
isn't
left
that
talk.
just the truth? Like what?
There's like basically it's... you might say something to somebody that's statistically been proven and they'll go, but my truth...
Yeah.
Right? As a trans woman...
Yeah.
It's... my truth is a new thing that's just... I think it's popped up in 2020. It's not real.
No, it's definitely not. There is truth and then there is not truth.
So we were talking about being able to... We've
Sorry,
just gone...
I've checked out.
I've got 3...
Jesus
I'm on my
Christ.
4th 5 seeds. I might get
20
to 5.
seeds.
It might be 20. I knew we should have started this podcast earlier tonight because this one was just going to run off
Hey,
forever.
mate, we were all for it.
It's
You
fun.
couldn't get ready.
I wasn't ready in time. I got a job. So you guys are saying that you can have a really close bond with somebody that shares completely different worldview, different political views, different religious views, and I'm saying no. I'm saying you can have friends. I've got friends that are...
So I'm talking about friendship though, not dating someone. I'm talking about friendship.
So you couldn't settle down with a missus that was from a lovely Iraqi household that was a really strong...
No.
Muslim.
And it doesn't have anything to do with where they're from or anything, but it's purely religious thing. I couldn't do it.
Islamophobe.
I couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it?
No.
What about you, Nev?
Yeah, no, I could.
You could? I think
would-
you could. I actually think you could.
I wouldn't like it.
He tolerates
then-
me, so I mean, you do all right.
But fuck, I spent 13 years in a relationship I didn't like, so
Yeah, well, there you
happy
go.
days.
Shade.
Hope she's not listening.
We've only got like 7 listeners, so I don't think. I think
13 by my count.
statistically, how many we got?
13 by my count.
Jesus, we better keep going. I think, I just think it's very hard to do. And
It would
like I said, I've had friends and acquaintances that would completely. I've got family members that think I'm the devil for following Trump and liking Trump and having being pro gun and being all these things that I am. But we get along. It's fine. It's okay. But I think when you're talking about a really close knit bond, like a best friend or something like that, I think you can have slight.
You got to be in the
opinions,
ballpark, though.
but it's got to be in the ballpark
Yeah.
because you got to trust that person at the end of the day. You got to say,
Does someone's political views determine whether you trust them or not?
but it's not just. I'm not. You got to take politics
there's
out of
someone's
it.
worldviews.
It's morals. It comes down to morals and
Yeah.
different things. And I think that I think the most dangerous people are the ones that sit on the fence
Yeah.
because they can go either way. Shit hits a fan. Who knows where they're going?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they're going with the side that's winning, obviously.
That's right.
There you go. But they might end up holding you down for the vaccine.
We don't know.
yeah,
if
well.
Go.
Delayed reaction. We don't know if that was actually Fern logged into her account.
Ah.
So we don't know if that was an absolute fact or
That
not.
still doesn't change whatever that person said.
Nah,
It's still
well, it changes what
the
you
same.
said. So
You're not letting that one go.
Shut up. That's what you
yeah.
said. Shut up.
Never,
you got a high five.
he's never lost an argument in his life, and he's
no.
he's
And he's
flailing.
very gracious in defeat, I might add.
I've lost closing arguments. I've lost.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Stay woke.
Stay woke.
Yeah, that is a great shirt.
So ironic.
That's what I said to Nev before. I said that you got to be careful that people actually realise you're wearing it ironically. Not,
Yeah, ironically, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yep.
He's not raising. Have you raised the fist tonight?
no, you raise the cauliflower or the broccoli, whatever it is.
Wearing it for free fucking soy lattes.
So next week we really need to get into the Biosecurity Act 2015. Been
Well,
bombarded by it, and I feel.
What if Shane has his way? If Shane has his way, we're going to be fucking
Celebrating Trump. And
If
he's
Shane
getting a
has
vote,
his
apparently.
way, we will be drinking some very high-end liquor,
Jet skis and shit,
jet skis and cognac.
boats and hoes.
But yeah. So I think next week Biosecurity Act 2015. Got to get right into that one. What else? What else do you want to talk about? What have we got left, Neville? We've got 22 minutes.
Oh, we can talk about fucking Ripple that just keeps dumping.
Oh my God!
No, you'll be good. Don't stress. You'll be good. I reckon it'll come back.
Do I just hold on to it?
Yeah, hold on to it.
Because I'm freaking out.
Hold on tight.
10 to 40.
Have you seen that? Does anyone watch The Office?
Yeah, which one?
The American one.
A little bit.
Steve Carell. You know when they freak out, like when he freaks out and everyone like leaves the building and shit for the. Yeah, that's me whenever my crypto dumps. Just freak out.
To be, what'd you buy in at? 27? 28?
Yeah.
Around that?
Yep.
That's
I think so.
still 45.
Yeah, but it was up to fucking 60.
That's 60%.
I had it when it was
gain.
60. I should have sold it.
Was it fucking 91 on Coinbase?
My God. Hindsight is a amazing
It's
thing.
always 2020.
It's amazing. But that's what I mean. Like,
almost.
I used to regret so many things in the moment after I do them. But
I still do.
But I think I find solace in the fact that at that exact time, it was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I feel so much better since I've adopted that mindset. Because I used to just go through life regretting.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done this. Why did I do that? I should have done this. I would have had this. I would have had that. It's like, fucking calm down. You're an impulsive person at the best of times.
No regrets, mate. Where's your tat?
Yeah. So it's just like at that point in time, it was exactly what I wanted.
Yep.
Do you understand that?
I do, because I'm exactly the same. I'm still that person. I'm very impulsive. I see stuff and I'm like, oh, that's mine. I'll have that. I buy shit. I get in trouble all the time.
I'm really, really trying not to. Well, fucking 2 years in jail. You don't really get to do that.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think there's a lot of it.
Let's talk for people that people keep hearing that you've been in jail, Neville, and they must think you are some sort of terrible person.
Hey, mate, he was running the yard in there, don't you know?
But you're a fucking.
Blokes thought of what?
You've learned a lot of. Tell us what you learn in jail and what how many books you fucking read in jail.
I read a few books.
How many books? You had a goal when you went in, right?
Well, bear in mind, I was expecting to do 6 years. so I yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
so I figured if I could get a couple
So
of
you
books
clearly
into that,
didn't hit the mark of books you wanted to read?
yeah. Yeah, no, I thought things were going to be a lot worse than they were.
Thank God they weren't, because you're here right now.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I set myself a goal of 100 books.
How many did you read?
About 170.
170 books.
Absolute fact.
You read 170 books in 2 years.
Maybe about 170. Yeah, but I mean, like, fuck, some of these books are like
Varied in thickness.
It's what comes around in the trolley.
Yeah.
A couple of them were pamphlets.
I was thinking Shawshank Redemption, did we?
Sunday Age went in there.
And what was there a book? Was there a specific book you read in jail that really stuck with you?
Or one that you wouldn't have thought you would have read?
Yeah.
There are a few that I would have thought that I wouldn't have read. Big one was Winter of Our Discontent, John Steinbeck. You're going to get me emotional, James.
That's what we want here at the Trojan Hour.
No, you really are. I read an article in the Herald Sun maybe a little bit before I read that book. Hadn't been in long. And the article was just, I looked at it, I thought, you got to be fucking kidding. Like, it was called What Books Have Saved Your Life? And there was authors and writers and everything. And
Yep.
A fucking book saves your life. You got to be kidding me. I read You're a cunt.
I've never heard of that book. What's that? Who wrote that one?
That'll be my autobiography. Yeah, I read Winter of Our Discontent. A few months, maybe 6 months. Oh, I don't even know. And yeah, literally saved my life. Yeah,
It's amazing that a book can do that. It's really powerful. It's good.
Huge. Yeah,
Huge.
we should put a Beyond Blue warning at the end of this because
No, but that's a good thing. You actually went in there and used it as a positive experience?
Tried, yeah.
170 books in 2 years is a fucking good effort.
Oh, yep. Like I said, I've read 7 my
I
whole
think-
life.
I think
Harry
people-
Potter, so
Yeah,
that's it.
I think the vast majority of people go through their whole lives without reading 170 books.
Because you just got to wait, man. They make it into a TV show. It's much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
That's right. But yeah, no, like a couple of hundred books,
Wow.
Two fights.
Just shy of a
two
couple
fights, and about 35 clean pistols. So I was happy. Net result is pretty fucking
So
good.
you had a couple of scraps, did you?
I had a couple.
Did
I
ya?
Yeah, had a
Yeah?
couple. Yeah, I remember one.
They weren't trying to steal your shoes, were they?
You know what? I went in. I had when I was arrested, I had a pair of fucking how I was with my shoes.
Yeah.
Big shoe collection.
A lot of Jordans.
Even managed to keep some of them after the separation. So I got locked up. I had a pair of Jordan 5 Oreo 5s, black and white, nice shoes,
Yep.
Uh-oh.
basketball shoes. Get into
Them some
MRC.
mighty fine shoes you got there, boy.
Yeah, well, mate, get into MRC. Do a whole show on my 2 years in there.
Yeah, good.
Strip down. You're in the prison greens. All your personal belongings go into a big fucking tub. Shoes. What are you doing with your shoes? Well, fucking, I'm not going in barefoot. Well, yeah, you're not going to last with those shoes, mate.
Wow.
What do you mean? Well, what are they? Jordans? He knows his shit. I mean, you're going to get... Well,
You're fucking damn right there, Jordans.
yeah, so mate, you won't last 24 hours with those shoes.
Wow.
And they're already off my feet by this time. And he's grabbed them, he's thrown them in the tub. So, mate, they're my fucking shoes. Give me my shoes back. No, you can take these. He's giving you a pair of boobers. That's what they call prison issue shoes, boobers.
Mhm.
I want me fucking... Give me my shoes back. Blake probably saved me a hiding.
Surely you would have known. Ain't you ever watched like any of them shows?
Yeah, I know, but you never think it. It's
Yeah, you don't think it's
You
like the
don't-
movies,
you
right?
don't-
Yeah.
like I was in there. The first 24 hours I was in there. I watched 6 pair of shoes get taken off people's feet.
Yeah.
Really?
6 pairs in
Are
20.
you shitting going in there at the start, like when you first went in there?
Fuck, I would have been.
So,
Yeah, even as hard as I pretend to be, I'd be fucking shitting.
no, I wasn't scared. I wasn't ever scared.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was?
Because I like had a good look at myself and thought I'll probably suck a cock if I have to. No, honestly, no, I don't know.
You are for gay marriage, so
Oh, that's fucking the best.
No, honestly, I don't know. I don't know why I wasn't. I thought I would have been. I didn't think I'd handle it well. Look,
So how was the first one, by the way?
the first one not as good as the last one. So went from the cells down to the map, which is where they kept our fucking favourite priest, George Pell, for a long time.
Georgie, shout
So
out George.
Yeah, big shout out George. Went in there, and the map's a bit like the map. You get to wear your own your street clothes and whatever else, but you're still locked in your cell at 4:30. So in and 2 out. So I was up in the top bunk, like underneath. You're locked in your cell at 4:30 for the night. That's it. You eat at 3:30.
I feel like I do all right in prison because that's about
I-
me. That's like me leaving my bedroom.
Yeah,
like I'm
pretty
in there by
much, yeah.
4:30.
Yeah.
I'd go insane.
The second or third night there, I was sort of looking up at the roof in the cell, and it's like fucking Shawshank. You know, fucking, what's his name was here? Who was the old bloke that was
Red.
Red? No, not Red.
Morgan Freeman's
no.
character.
Who was the bloke that hung himself? The old bloke with the bird.
I can't think of his name.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the scratches on the roof, and I'm sitting there. I'm thinking, fucking, like 2 nights in there, I got this roof this far away from your head, and a fucking stinky fucking Arab sleeping underneath me, snoring.
Islamophobe.
Snoring at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like,
Racism.
I'm pretty sure he was a cat. Like, dude, it was 6 years of shit.
So you were
Like,
locked up thinking still you were going to get 6 years.
Well,
right?
this is like at the map. I'm a week in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
How long
like,
were you in before you got sentenced?
17 months, 15 months,
Fuck.
long time.
So
And-
when you got sentenced, you would have been thinking, "Fucking sweet."
Well, see, the thing is, so
But also that's 17
I
months
wanted,
of going.
I wanted to fight my charges,
Yeah.
right? And this is probably a discussion like the whole prison system, especially in the US, but a little bit over here as well. Be a good show because it's fucked up.
Mm.
I wanted to
Are
fight.
you allowed to talk about this stuff, by the way?
Bracelet doesn't have a fucking microphone.
It's
Beep, beep, beep
starting to
starts going off.
vibrate.
I got my charger on.
Wait, have you got time?
I got a little bit, I think.
He's
Yeah.
got
12 minutes.
Yeah, 12 minutes to get home.
two minutes
You're
down the
30 seconds down.
Right.
the road, not even that.
So I wanted to fight my charges.
Mm.
All right. I thought there was enough there that I could have beaten my charges.
If you had Sydney Powell in your corner, you might have been right.
I had a decent.
Get Fern on the
Would have
job.
rather Gobbo. So I wanted to fight my charges. So I did the first. I did all my time at MRC, basically maximum security remand centre. So people are in and out. Most people only spend 3 or 4 months there because their cases are heard.
Is that because you weren't sentenced? You get stuck
So
in those fucking remand centres?
And because I hadn't had a charge before, first time in, I immediately got an A rating. So I'm stuck at maximum security.
Okay. That's
Fucking-
crazy.
Fucking Coey been in 2 or 3 times. I was cruising, B rating, medium security.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Oh, do you know what you should have done? And you could have probably avoided the whole thing, is gone into court and said, hey, mate, there's no such thing as an absolute fact. And you've got no proof that I did anything.
Would it work? That
Would have just had to dismiss everything. Off you go, Nev. See you later. Thanks for coming. Here's your Jordans.
He's got to say it.
Brooks.
So-
and Brooks. Steve Templeton said Brooks ends up writing the final letter to Andy.
Brooks.
Yeah. Thanks,
yeah,
Steve.
okay, yeah, Brooks was here.
Cheers,
That's
Steve.
right. Yeah. So yeah, my lawyer's telling me I'm looking at maybe 2.5 years before trial.
Before
By
trial,
the time
yeah.
it
okay.
all got stretched out, like
That's
a
crazy, isn't it?
German's this fucking mention, you've got to fucking you go, well, you're probably not going to get to trial for 2.5 years.
Fuck.
And by this time, by the time he's telling me that, my initial thoughts are 6 to 8.
So you were
Things have
mentally preparing yourself
Yeah,
for
but things
6
have
years.
changed by then. So I'm thinking.
So what happens if
I'm
you...
thinking 3 to 4 at worst on top, 3 to 4 on top.
What happens
so
if you go to trial 2.5 years in and you only get a year?
then they send you home.
Yeah, no, but what do they get? What about that year? You've like
a
the year
lot
over.
talking to a lot of cons in there, they get credit.
Yeah.
They're going, I got 180.
So I can go and do crime and they just take it off
Yeah.
in credit.
Yeah,
Is that a real thing?
I think it is. Yeah, I think a lot of them in certain cases they can give you credit.
Yeah,
Not
because
all
like you see
cases.
lots of, that are like wrongfully convicted and they
Yeah.
get a massive
Yeah,
payout.
smack
but-
someone over the head and they say,
Yeah,
you got 180 days credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
See,
a lot
that's
of
right, knock two
not
off me
in
cred.
all. They won't do it. It doesn't happen often, I think. But a lot of there were guys in there that
Some
go, well,
sort of
fucking,
system like
I'm
that.
going to get 3 years, but I've got
Yeah.
like 95 days credit from last time.
Yeah, right.
Worth it. So yeah, by this time I'm thinking 3 to 4 on top at work. So if 4 on top, I'm going to do 2.5. And we're sort of a year and a half in, or just under a year and a half in. COVID hadn't come yet, and I'm fucking glad it hadn't. But I'm thinking, like I said to my lawyer, I said, why the fuck wouldn't? What if I plead rather than go to trial? What if I plead? What am I looking at? Well, if you plead, you might, like, best case, you might get 3 and serve 2.
Right.
All right. So I can serve 2.
So you might save a year. Is that what you think?
Does
Or
my
I can-
head in how you can plead guilty to a crime and get less time.
Yeah.
That
Or
does
I-
my-
Or
that-
I can, I can do 2, or I can wait for trial for an extra 6 months after my bottom, after the time I could potentially be out. I could do another 6 months after that and risk getting 6
Yeah,
or 8. Why the fuck wouldn't I just plead?
yeah, it does
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, bear in
does
mind,
my
I
noodle
wanted.
that.
Bear in mind, I wanted to fight it.
Mm.
Like I personally think I would have beaten the charges.
You think so, yeah?
Yeah, I think. Well, at the very, yeah, no, I think I think most of the charges I pled to would have been knocked down. To
How long
basically
did you
nothing.
do total?
I did 2 weeks short of 2 years.
Jeez, just quietly, that time flew by for me. I feel like I seen you last week.
That's like my man. That reminds me of my dad. I was helping my dad lift something, right? And he fucking dropped it early and jammed my fingers. And I said, "Fuck's sake, Dad, that hurt like fuck." He goes, "I didn't feel nothing."
I said the same thing to Sam when she had.
Oh,
the
sorry,
ba-
that was
had
better. I was just better.
Same thing to Sam when she had the baby. Like you've had one young back for a second. It can't be
Yeah.
that fucking bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, there's probably a whole show on the prison system, but
Yeah.
that whole thing is geared towards getting an early plea. So I rolled the dice. I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to plead." And
And you're better off.
Yeah, and like I said, COVID hit, like 2.5 years. Like my charges, I was never getting bail. Like they changed the.
So you couldn't even get bail.
Not with my charges, no. No, they put me in the same category as a murderer, which is fucking
Wow.
That is insane.
insane.
Yeah.
So COVID come along. Now 2.5 years would have been stretched out to 3.5, 4. Now I might have got bail because of COVID, but there was no way I was coming out with the possibility of me having to go back in. I'll do the time.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I remember when I went down to your house, probably one of the second or third times I'd seen you since you got out.
Yeah.
And I had my brand new Adidas fully red shoes on. And you said, I can't take anyone serious that wears red fucking shoes.
No.
Tell why quickly.
Well,
we
because
got a couple of minutes.
Shoes are like
Status
they're
symbols,
almost,
right?
Yeah, they're almost like your car. Like you got red shoes.
They're your wheels, man.
Yeah,
So it's like a red Ferrari on my
but
feet.
but anyone with red shoes, like if you needed something, go see the dude in the red shoes.
Yeah, right.
Because he's
like an identifier, sort of.
he's moving shit.
So
because
it's a
you don't
status
you don't
symbol.
get red shoes without having currency in that
Yeah, right.
in that place. White shoes probably next tier down, or any really outlandish multicolored pair of Asics, $300 fucking Asics Kayanos that were multicolored. They're probably your next tier down from your red.
Crazy.
White, really nice white shoes, unless like, and then you had cunts on boobers.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
So next week, we need to get into this Biosecurity Act and whatever else is going on in that crazy time. Yeah, we better end it now because you've got 5 minutes to get home.
I'm going to have to be doing the next one.
Next one live from prison.
We'll do a Zoom session from jail. So thanks, guys, for listening. It was really fun. Yeah, we'll catch you next week, hopefully. See you then.
You're listening to the Trojan Hour. Yeah, the boys.